right, welcome to the Spider Pop Arcade. I'm Gordon. I'm here with Blanc and Magpie once again because, hey, we're doing Echo again. Oh
Hooray!
crap, hold on.
Yay.
What's in display capture? There we go. Okay, so what happened last time? The last time Echo finally gave me the one thing I really wanted, and that was closure for all these characters. You know, Chase had just gotten really tired of them just getting angry that their friend died and taking it out on each other. And then he just dives into the lake. And then, you know, they start joining him. Some of them just sit at the edge or whatever. And I'm like, this is nice. This is good. This is what I wanted. Then Chase almost drowns. And when he comes back up, the mass hysteria has started. And it's just...
You're not
what was
streaming
it?
on Discord yet.
Oh, that's right. Let me do that. But yeah, I'm just like, this fucking place always has to take everything from me. I'm so fucking tired of it.
Hey, you were asking that from the very beginning. Like, we want closure. I want closure. You got your closure.
Yeah, then it took it fucking back.
Yeah.
It was just like, ha, you didn't say no takey back season. It's just like, you bitch. All right, where were we? Are we at the yeah, later date right here. Okay, so we're driving probably to Carl's place. Oh wait, hold on.
There we go, a couple steps back. Just
Let me make sure OBS is on the other monitor. There we go. Once we get in the house, Carl head straight for the stairs.
I was just gonna say maybe go a couple steps back just to get.
Oh, the refresh.
Yeah.
Let's see. To the street.
Oh,
It's a good distance. Is that Janice? Legend, she tears out into the sagebrush, zigzagging about, arms flinging about in all directions. Carl and I both watch her as we pass silent. Something's happening in this town to all of us. Once we get into the house, Carl heads straight for the stairs. Carl, you guys back?
You guys
How'd it
back?
go?
How'd it go?
Oh, that's right. Sorry. David's voice
Yeah,
calls
it's
from
all good.
upstairs.
Oh, he hasn't gone mad yet from the crazy house. That's a relief, I suppose.
He's alive. We left him in the
He's-
spook house,
wait.
and he's alive.
Is that like-
yeah.
Is that supposed to be his theme? What's
Probably.
This is new.
This is new. This music sounds like a shopping app.
Here, shot for your sanity.
Ray, something's wrong.
Huh? What's wrong?
I don't answer. As I walk to the stairs, Carl just disappeared down. Once I get there, he's already gone. Going down the stairs, and it's at this point that my headache starts to make a comeback. Carl? He's not in the basement either, but I can see the yellow. What the fuck is this music? I'm sorry. It blindsided me. This feels like I'm shopping on the Wii U shopping channel.
Yeah, it does have that fucking vibe, doesn't it?
I'm like, is this supposed to be Raven's theme? Does this make sense because he works at a game store? I'm very confused right now. This is like my first Megalon encounter in Sea of Thieves.
Just enjoy the levity while it lasts. That's all I'm saying.
He's not in the basement either. God, it sounds so like playful with slight whimsy though. Tee-hee, where did Carl go? What the fuck is this music? But I can see the yellow light from the crawl space. Okay. I don't know what it is, but something feels incredibly wrong right now.
Yeah.
Oh, there we
there's
go.
music.
Thank you. Thank you. Buzzing fills my head. The ground feels unsteady as if I'm walking on sand. Once I find Carl, we're both going to the hospital. What?
What? Oh, he's saying once he finds Carl.
Oh, once I find Carl, we're going to the
because-
hospital.
Yeah.
I stumble down into the crawl space, and again, Carl's not there. I'm greeted to a familiar row of tubs, but a stack of them has been pulled away from the wall. Carl? Carl, what? I fall silent because ahead of me is the hole. Yeah, no, I think that's supposed to be Chase's headache. About 3 feet high and 2 feet wide. Okay, I fall silent because ahead of me is a hole? About 3 feet high, 2 feet wide. What the hell? Carl? Plaster covers the tarp around it as if the wall had been bashed violently to create the hole. Did Carl go through it? Getting on my paws and knees, I look into it. Oh no, it's Silent Hill 4 the room. Getting on my paws and knees, I look into it, but the darkness is inky and so black, I swear I can touch it. Oh god, I'm so confused right now. Well, because I thought
I
that
wonder
music
if
was...
it's like a glitch. I don't know because this is supposed to be playing here. I don't know.
Because, yeah.
Well, I think you might have started it by going back a message to or something.
No, but we didn't hear this song when we went back. This song started playing when we talked to Raven, which is making me wonder if
No, you went back just like one step earlier on.
Oh.
Just a few.
Hold on, maybe if I go to a different menu? No, that's not gonna fix anything.
No.
Nope.
They'll sort itself out. Just ignore it. Just try and ignore it.
As I crawl forward, my mind gives a violent jolt, and I arch my back teeth, barred as my face spasms, and then I fall? Looks like I fall forever.
No.
Is it going away?
I'm clicking.
It's going away.
We're falling.
Music's gone.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, here we go again.
Oh, this.
Pleasantly through my fur, sweeping underneath and cooling my searing skin. The smell of the desert sagebrush and dirt overwhelm my senses. Everything is black around me, but there are millions of stars above me. I've always wanted to see the sky in an area with low light pollution. Or no light pollution. I hear the smattering of small feet running circles around my body, snuffing of noses up against my side and neck. Mixed into the sounds of the wild are words, languages I don't understand, chanting and singing, the sounds of dancing. Then another language. I hear a word or two that I learned from Leo years ago. And then my own language. And above it all is the maniacal cackling, one that builds and fades before choking off into a sob. The first feeling I have is one of confusion. I feel stiff and cold, and I'm laying back on something hard. I expect to see stars, but when I open my eyes, hold on, expect to see stars above me when I open my eyes, but instead, all I see is blackness. Panic starts to well up inside me. My breathing quickens, and though it's hard and painful, I have to push myself up into a sitting position. That's when a gentle glow came from an opening about 30 feet away from me. Where am I? The thing I remember was the lake. Wait, no, Carl's house is the last thing I remember. We went back to his house after the lake. I fell asleep in his house somewhere? I feel around the floor with my hands and can feel wood underneath me. It creaks as I shift around. Carl? My voice comes out hard and crackly. I have to lick my lips several times to keep them from sticking together. I call out again, but more softly this time because I'm starting to wonder if someone else brought me here. Yeah, someone else. When I don't hear anything, I start to crawl forward towards the light. My head throbs a little, and there's a coppery taste in my mouth. Uh-oh. Probing my tongue around, I taste the sour of bites along my cheeks. I start to run through a list of things that could have happened. I was in Carl's basement. I just sort of seized up. Someone hit me over the head? Stop calling and start moving my hands around my body and feel over my head. No sign of injuries. Aside from the cheek bites. It really just the inside of my head that hurts. While I do this, lucidity starts to return in waves as if a dam has broken and all my senses are falling back into place. At the same time, the panic starts to return as I realize how much of this doesn't make sense. Someone had to have brought me here, or wherever here is. Start crawling in, trying to keep my panic under control. I'm almost to the glow, but it's weird because it's coming from the ground. As I get close, I hear a soft brushing behind my head. I tense and look over my shoulder. I'm greeted by the sight of inky blackness so dark that it almost feels alive, and I get the impression of a giant mouth opening in front of my face. The imagery gives me a jolt, and I lunge forward, deciding to get up on my feet so I can move fast. And then I'm falling, but not for long. My senses are full of light now, and I throw my hands forward to catch myself. But I keep falling, and the split second before I hit, I realize there's a ladder. I instinctively grab it, but my head hits the rungs first and I flip forward before landing on my feet. Ugh.
Uh,
It happens on weak ankles though, and my right foot gives out and my ankle rolls. Oh, that's always
yeah.
painful. I hear a series of pops before the rest of my body hits the floor. Where the-
Pain. I've went through that before.
I used to roll my ankles all the goddamn time when I was a child.
Uh,
I thought I just had fucked up feet, and it's just like, no. Well, actually, I do have fucked up feet. I don't know
You
if
just have bad coordination.
it's also probably
God.
that too, though. No, I have really weird arches that affected my ankles, so I have
Haha,
uh,
arches.
so I oh funny, and I have to
Pronounce.
keep I have to wear low arch supports on my shoes if I don't want to be in pain all the time.
Mm.
I lay here for a moment, and the sudden noise and violence of the fall stunning me. In my stupor, I feel a cold spider web of electricity. Okay, I thought he felt like an actual like cobweb or something. I'm like, oh no, he's gonna fucking
Mm.
flip. Uh, okay. In my stupor, I feel a cold
Oh,
spider web of electricity pulsing from my ankle, and that's what spurs me to move. Pull my,
Gordon.
mm-hmm.
This is gonna be the starting part of heavy reading between form characters. So, I'll get two of them.
We'll see. Okay.
Mm.
I still want to read Carl, but if it's yeah, I
Oh yeah,
still
no, you could do Chase and
okay.
Carl.
I pull myself into a sitting position to clutch at it. Fuck. The pain isn't real bad, but something is definitely wrong, and I'm not sure if I could just walk it off. So I notice my surroundings. Long hallway stretches out to either side of me, lit by decorative chandeliers. Looking up, I see I've fallen down a drop-down ladder from a small square in the ceiling. The hell? I look back down at my ankle. I wriggle around and immediately feel another pulse of electricity that feels much more painful this time around. My teeth as I spread my hands out against the wall behind me, pushing myself up slowly, making sure not to put any weight on my injured ankle. As I'm doing this, I hear a soft clopping sound from my right. At the end of the hall, it looks like it takes a sharp right, and it sounds like the noises are coming from that turn. So it tightens, and I press myself harder against the wall. I see a shadow slide up the carpet at the end of the hallway and hold my breath. The shadow stops too, and I get the feeling that whatever it is might be holding its own breath. Finally, the tension gets to me, and I clear my throat nervously. Carl? Chase? Carl! Oh, thank God. I let a gasp of relief and I let a gasp of relief almost sag down the wall. More clapping of footsteps, and Carl appears around the corner. His eyes wide and his nostrils flare. He stumbles up to me, his hand clasped together nervously. Holy shit, dude, it's so fucking good to see you. I press up harder against the wall, taking more weight off my foot. What the hell's going on? I don't know, I just woke up. You okay? He looks at me and then down on my foot. Are you hurt? I gesture up at the ladder. I fell down from that thing. Carl looks up at the ladder and the dark hole it leads up to. What are you doing up there? I don't know. I just woke up in the dark and tried to crawl out. Shit. Carl bends down to look at my ankle, which is clearly starting to swell. Can you walk? I think so. Kind of. He stands back up and looks around. Chase, I don't know what's going on. I just woke up in a bedroom up the hall like 20 minutes ago. Was this not part of your house? Carl lets out a breathy, incredulous laugh. No, definitely not. I was trying to find a window, but I can't. Maybe we're in a basement or something? The last thing I remember is your crawl space. Why would they have an attic in a basement? Look back into the dark hole of the ceiling. Maybe it's not an attic. Chase, I'm freaking out. It shows too. His breathing is picking up, his wide nostrils flying again. I reach out and put a hand on his shoulder, giving some reassuring squeezes. No, it's okay. Maybe we got really high or drunk or something, and that's the last thing you remember? Carl starts clicking his fingers together again, looking away up the hall. The lake? Yeah, I remember we went back to your house, then down to the basement, and then Carl frowns. I don't remember. Watch him carefully. But then I remember looking behind the plastic bins, and there was this. Oh, who's that? We both jump up and scream comes right down the hallway. Carl and I both look at each other wide-eyed. The hell?
Hello? Is someone out there?
It sounds like Raven. Carl starts to hesitantly. Oh no, Raven got caught up in this?
Well, obviously.
Yeah. Oh boy. I don't know. Because Kuzu was like. Kuzu put on a brave face for us during that whole ordeal.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm tired of innocents getting dragged in our bullshits.
There's always gonna be war.
Apparently. Carl starts to hesitantly walk up the hallway, and I move to follow, and immediately regret as I put weight on my ankle. It's completely stiff now, and pain shoots up my shin like lightning. My gasping causes Carl to turn around in confusion. Then his eyes light up, and he sees my leg. Oh shit! Here, he reaches out, and I wrap my arm around his neck. He's sturdy and strong, easy to lean against, and I sigh with relief as I take the weight off my injured ankle.
Somebody?
We hobble our way down the hall, following the sound of Raven's panic voice. Take a left at the end of the hall and are confronted with an almost identical hallway to the last. That's when I start to smell smoke. Do you smell that? Carl puts up his nose. Something burning?
Help me.
I almost jump again, and as the sound comes from the right on our left, the only door on the left of the hallway, we both look at the door for a moment. Carl's ears turn straight up. Oh. And we both jump again as the door shakes from several bashes that rattle the frame.
Oh.
The cry is mournful, like he's given up. Raven? And the shaking pounding stops.
Carl. Carl.
The voice instantly turns hopeful, and the voice grows muffled, as if Raven is pressing his muzzle right up against the door.
I'm stuck. The door won't open, and there's a fire.
What?
Chase, there's something burning on the stove or something. I can't see it.
Me and Carl look at each other in bewilderment.
Guys, it's getting really smoky in here. I can't see anything.
He gives a cough.
It's really hard to breathe.
Alright, hold on a sec, man. We'll get you out. Carl shifts me to the wall so I can lean against it, and then tries the doorknob. The knob barely turns, clearly locked. Shit.
Yeah, it's locked, and it's getting really hot in here.
Carl, I think it's time to use your head. Hold on. Carl shoves the shoulder up against the door. It gives a few creaks, but otherwise stays solid.
Please, help.
His sound of whimpering is barely audible through the thick wood. What the fuck is it? Maybe we could pick it? Carl studies the knob. I don't think a paperclip is going to work. I lean in to look at myself, staring at an old-fashioned keyhole. The hell? Raven, you can't unlock it from that side?
No, there's nothing there. Guys, I can't breathe.
The voice is getting desperate again. There's no other way out? No other door there? Raven doesn't answer, and Carl and I both wait for a good 10 seconds. Raven? Oh, yeah. Discord couldn't handle that yell. Which, I'm not gonna lie, made it seem all the more scarier. We both jump for the third time before Carl presses his face up the door. Raven, what happened? 2 seconds while we hear his coughs, and Raven's voice is lowered up against the bottom of the door as if he's laying down.
Something in the smoke. Help.
What? What's in the smoke?
Why won't they help this poor man?
My mind flashes back to what I heard in the attic.
Something. You can't see. Open the door.
Fuck. All right, man, stand back. I don't know why he's talking to me, or I don't know if he's talking to me or Raven, but I take a step back anyway. Carl takes a few steps and throws his body forward, smashing up against the door. It shudders a little bit, and I hear a crack or two, but otherwise there's no change. He tries it again with the same result. Oh, I think that's gonna work. Carl doesn't say anything, instead backing up until his back touches the opposite wall. He takes a deep breath and then charges forward, his head down this time. Instinctively, I close my eyes, imagining Carl snapping his neck right in front of me. Oh! Well, okay, because he survived that car crash, and obviously his head hit the windshield. So I'm just like, maybe his head and neck are a lot stronger than, we originally thought. And yeah, the impact is much louder this time, and it's accompanied by a crunch. When I open my eyes, it's not Carl's neck that's broken, but rather the wooden door. Yeah, I had a feeling. Oh, did I make the joke that I was just like, we're gonna have to use our heads on this one?
God, you did. He said
Okay.
he told Carl to use his head.
Carl's head has completely busted through the door, so the door that his head's poking on the other side. I start expecting to see tangles of black smoke out the broken door, but there's nothing. Carl sets his head on the other side of the door, apparently taking a look around. Raven, you okay? Look up to Carl's side to put a hand on his back. Carl, what is it? Is there a fire? Raises himself up against the door before pushing back, yanking his head out before opening. He comes up with a bunch of wooden splinters, lining his head fur and beard and sweatshirt. Well, he's not wearing his sweatshirt anymore, though.
Yeah.
Nothing. I know. I duck down and look through the opening as well, taking care to keep weight off my injured foot. We're at the side of a brightly lit dining room and kitchen, but it's clear, no smoke in sight.
It was completely black in here a second ago.
Look down at the trembling voice of Raven below me and see the husky curled up, his head poking from his fetal position.
Hey, Chase.
Hi.
I don't know what happened. There was smoke everywhere. It's like when you opened the door, it all got sucked out.
I sniff, and now I can't even get a whiff of smoke aside from the residual taste I still have of it in the back of my throat. I hear a click next to my head and look over to see the doorknob twist. I pull my head out of the hole, and Carl pulls to open the door. You kidding me? It was locked, right? It was definitely locked. Evan gets that brushing shaky hands down his shirt. You okay, man?
Yeah. Just thought I was gonna die for a second.
Oh boy. Watch as Raven struggles to keep his ears perked. What happened? He takes a deep breath.
I don't know. I just woke up in here and smoke started coming out of the stove or oven or something.
You said you saw something.
Yeah, something in the smoke. It looked like arms or something.
Ah shit, is Socket Man in here?
Uh-oh.
I'll and I look at each other.
But it might have just been the smoke.
Look around the room, scanning it for any sign of black smoke that Raven was adamant about having seen. I don't think he was just seeing things because I'm pretty sure I hadn't imagined the smell.
I promise, I'm not lying. It's just what I saw.
The bigger issue here is that we're here at all. I mean, where the hell is this? Stood my hands out, giving an incredulous laugh.
I thought maybe it was just another part of your house.
Even looks at Carl.
I mean, I went downstairs after you guys and found this hole, then everything went dark.
Carl looks down. Same here, I followed Carl. We both look at Carl, but he doesn't say anything, instead just moving past Raven into the large kitchen next to the dining room. Hobble after him, then reach out to lean against the counter. I try to gather my thoughts. Everything still feels dreamlike, surreal, and my thoughts are sluggish. Oh, do you have any idea what happened? I mean, that hole. Did you go there too? Carl sets his hands on his hips, eyes wandering around the room. Honestly, I can't remember anything that happened after the lake, man. Raven casts a side look at me before moving next to Carl.
Well, maybe it'll just take you a second before you can remember. I was really confused when I woke up here. I was curled up over there on that counter.
And points at the marble top counter under a row of over a dozen pans hanging from a fixture attached to the ceiling. Stand here in silence as I imagine we individually absorb the situation we're in. Are you sure this isn't some extension of your house? Maybe something that leads out of the crawl space? Around laughs, but it definitely isn't genuine. Dude, I think I'd know if this was some part of my house. Unless my parents have just been building this secret kitchen underground for who knows how long. That's at the lighting, which is definitely electric. Then over at what looks like an electric stove. Well, everything sort of looked old-fashioned. There was a mixture of modernity.
Yeah.
Modernity to it as well. Where else could we be? Even I remember going into the crawl space and losing consciousness after we found that hole, which is where you went, Carl. Carl finally does turn at me at this point, his brow furrowed. You think I had something to do with this? And though I was implying that he might know more, Carl's sudden jump to being defensive catches me by surprise. No, I'm just wondering if you might have any more ideas since it's your house, you know? Carl laughs again. I'm struck by the fullness of it. Usually when Carl laughed, it was crackly and half-hearted. Now it's loud and a little abrasive. I think I was just waiting in the shadows and drugged you all up with acid or some shit. I don't respond, just watching Carl as he stares back at me, breathing hard. Raven coughs loudly.
Hey, guys, let's calm down, you know? I'm kind of hungry. Why don't we make some food?
That seems to break Carl out of his stare down with me as he looks over at Raven and huffs out one of his more characteristic chuckles. Really, Raven?
Yeah, that always makes me feel better.
And starts opening cupboards, but each one's empty. Carl turns back to me, frowning. Sorry, Chase, I'm just fucking freaked out too. Thing is, I don't think we're in my house anymore. He chuckles again. I mean, are we even in Echo? What time is it anyway? Reach into my pocket to check my phone, and that's where I remember. And that's when I remember I have a fucking phone. I almost jump at the realization and shove my hand in my pocket and pull it out. Why didn't I think of that before? Why? Phone? Is this still the same phone that he had when he broke up with Leo? Or when he left Leo, I
think it's a different one. I think it's a different.
Because I see the crack on here, and I'm like,
Maybe, I don't know.
yeah, but like his phone fucking broke though, so
Yeah.
Maybe this is just a little reminder. I pull it out excitedly and hit the button to turn the screen on, and I'm met with a black screen. My phone's dead. Are you kidding me? Put the power button down, nothing happens. See Raven and Carl getting similar results. Raven shaking his as if that's going to help. Carl shakes his head. We're out that long? This is crazy. Press my hand on my face for a moment. The idea that this could still be some sort of dream coming to mind. Remember after taking an overnight job back when I was a freshman and how that fucked up my sleeping schedule? That in turn gave me all kinds of fucked up realistic dreams. Sleep paralysis plagued me to the ends of my wits, and I remember one time I thought I'd never be able to get up. I was stuck in bed, but each time I sat up, I thought it was over. I'd end up sort of waking up again, still lying down, stuck in my paralysis. Dreams within dreams within dreams.
No food either.
Scattered thoughts collected together long enough for me to decide that the next course of action we should take. Alright, this is stupid. We should go out and look around. We'll find a way out eventually. Yeah. We need to do that. I looked around and a little but didn't find anything. I grip the counter a little more tightly as I feel a slight wave of dizziness over me, making everything feel even less real. But the pain that's shooting up my leg from my ankle is very real, and I glance down at the ever-growing swelling confirms it. The suspicion that we'd somehow been drugged grows, but I don't want to upset Carl again, so I don't mention it. Okay, yeah, let's just stick together and go. We'll find the way out. Oh, I am hungry. Sorry.
Oh, you good? I'm hungry.
We can eat when we get out. There's no food here anyway. I turn, and even though I do it as lightly as possible, the moment I set my right foot down, it's like 100 needles pressed into my ankle. Oh, fuck. Carl's at my side instantly, reaching out a hand to steady me. Dude, you alright?
What happened?
I lean all my weight onto the counter at this point, just letting my foot dangle as I hold it off the ground. Painful. He fell down a ladder and landed on his foot wrong. What? It's only now that it's really starting to hurt. I say it through gritted teeth. The pain is actually making me sweat, and I'm realizing that I might have done more than just spraying it. I don't think I could walk like this.
How did you fall down a ladder?
He woke up in an attic here. Hunches down in front of me. A stupefied brain thinks... What? Carl hunches down in front of me. My stupefied brain thinks up a butt sex joke, but I managed to keep it canned. You sure I could just lean against you? Won't take too long. Besides, it looks like you can't walk at all right now. Gently, I go over the counter and let myself sort of fall forward onto the ram's back. He's sturdy and barely budges as I lean all my weight on him. Carl reaches back for both hands and my legs off the ground as he stands, and I feel all the muscles in his back flex as he does. Damn, Carl, you work out? Carl grunts a little bit. My God, Carl. I mean, not Carl, Chase. I guess if it keeps his mind off the pain.
Yeah.
True.
I move my head to the side and keep knocking my nose against his horns. It's a smart move because just then Carl nods his head in Raven's direction. Yeah, now this is kind of fucked up, but maybe grab a kitchen knife? Raven raises an eyebrow at Carl.
Why?
Oh crap. Hold on, I got a phone call. Let me mute me really quick.
Kitchen knife. Nice.
The good old call of the kitchen knife.
Definitely not horrible.
Okay, be right back. It seems that I've received a package. Let me go pick it up.
Okay.
Headset on.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okie doke. What was it? Well, okay, so every round. Okay, so let's see. I'm not imagining things, right? It's not. Okay, so here's the thing.
And I'm back.
Okay, cool. So every character in, or every route in Echo is supposed to be a different type of horror. Apparently Leo's was a slasher flick, which, I mean, makes sense given how crazy he was getting in that whole thing with the meth heads.
Yeah.
I think Carl's is gonna be a haunted house.
Well, I think we're in the haunted house.
Well, yeah, I think we're in it now. Okay, so let's see. He told Raven to get a knife. Why? What do you think, man? I immediately see what Carl's getting at. We have no idea where we are or who put us here. Might be safe to be ready to defend ourselves, you know? And he said he saw something in the smoke. Raven's eyes widen, but he reaches out slowly to pull a knife from a silver-looking knife block. Husky frowns at the sheen sound it makes. His ears down and elbows in. It's clear he's never used anything as a weapon before. I can't blame him. Neither have I.
I don't know if I should be the one to do it, though.
Well, you're not strong enough to hold Chase, so I've got my hands tied. He looks at me. If anything, though, I'll have to drop you and help him out, okay, man? Chuckles softly. Yeah, no problem. Let's just hope that doesn't have to happen. I have a feeling it's gonna happen multiple times. It's gonna be
No.
It's gonna be Drew Barrymore from that Adam Sandler movie where where was it? They meet on while on vacation. It was one of those movies Adam Sandler made because it's just like I want to take a vacation with my friends, but also make a movie.
Fair.
Let's see. Okay, and with the shaky husky in the lead, we set off back into the hallway. Immediately it's clear that wherever we are isn't very large. Four identical hallways lead us around in a perfect square. Each hallway has three doors on the right, one on the left, and a hatch in the ceiling that leads to the attic. What becomes immediately clear is that the door on the left leads into a kitchen, but from the kitchen there's only one door out. Each time we open the door to the kitchen, we come to realize that the angle in which we enter is the same. The first time this happens, we're mostly confused, wondering if maybe we backtracked somehow. After the second time, though, Raven laughs.
This isn't real. We're on drugs or something.
But we're all seeing the same thing.
Or I'm just having this dream and none of you are real, huh?
His voice is bordering on crazy. That paired with his grin, paired with him holding the knife, is slightly disconcerting. Carl huffs, hitching me up higher on his shoulders. Alright, calm down, just think about it. Let's try the other doors. A little surprised to see how well Carl is taking all of this. I wonder if a part of it has to do with any of the weed that might still be in the system. We start trying the doors on the right, and this time things are different. The first door opens up to a wall, an extension of the beige color of the wall surrounding it. We stare at it for a few minutes, and for the first time we get a deep unsettling terror in the pit of my stomach. Oh, I get. I imagine to keep it from rising to the surface. But all this bizarre imagery combined with the surreal haze is making me feel sick and claustrophobic. Bummer, that's definitely not the way out. On to the next door. Carl chuckles again. I feel myself clinging to his attempt at humor just to keep myself sane. The next door opens up to what looks like a bathroom. Definitely not a modern one though, since it's complete with a pull-down chain from the high tank. At least we got all the essentials, right? The next door reveals a room full of tools and chains hanging from the ceiling, along with a sawhorse. The walls, though, are lined with wooden planks, and Carl gently sets me against the wall before hurrying and peering at the wood. There's just concrete behind it. I don't bother to ask what the hell is going on again. I'm just starting to accept that where we are can't be explained. More doors are open, 12 in all. One is completely white and empty. Another contains a frilly bedroom, which is where Carl says he woke up. Further along, we come across what looks like an office, along with a room decorated with sofas and a chandelier. When we reach one of the doors in the last hall, though, something is different. First thing I notice is the smell. Though it's faint, I can tell it's sweet in the most disgusting way possible.
No.
Oh, what is that?
That was a very good gag noise, by the way.
Thanks.
That was absolute disgust right there. Raven holds a hand up to his nose as we approach the second to the last door in the last hall. One one is clearly damaged. The wood is splintered in the middle, bulging out slightly as if it had been punched through from the other side. I'll stare at it for a moment, the smell growing stronger. Then it hits me. Oh god, you think... I can't finish covering my muzzle with both hands. Raven had been right up next to the door, steps back with an arm up around his face, looking like he's about to throw up. Imagine the smell is a lot worse for him. Maybe we should skip this one for now. Carl hesitates, then gently sets me down against the wall again, waiting to check every door. This could be the way out, you know? Looks back at me, but I don't say anything, just grimace at the door. He holds a hand out to Raven, knife. After handing it over, Raven takes several more steps back further up the hall. I press my hand on my muzzle, readying myself to shut my eyes. Carl turns the knob, I grip my teeth. The room has no illumination. Therefore, we have to rely on the light from the hallway to see inside. As if the light from the opening door spreads across the room, I see that it's rather simple. The walls are concrete peppered with craters and rocks. The floor is smoother, but with webs of cracks on its surface. I can't see the ceiling, but I do see what's hanging from it. The door opens completely. There's enough light to fully take in exactly what it is. A noose. Bright and old looking, but unmistakably a noose. Carl stares at it and then sticks his head further in to look back and forth before stepping back to close the door.
What was that?
Oh,
What was it?
Raven calls up from the hall, his hands clasped nervously together. I noticed then that the rotting smell is completely gone now instead of getting stronger when Carl opened the door. Nothing. Empty room. Carl, visibly trying to keep his breathing under control as he holds the knife out to Raven before bending down in front of me again.
Really? Oh, thank God.
Oh, it trembles as he stands up with me in tow.
I think there was something in there, but it's gone walkies.
Well, I mean, we just see a noose hanging from the ceiling and that's it.
Yeah, I think there was something in it.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
You know, it's gone out.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
As the husky moves onto the final door, I lean next to Carl's cheek. You okay? See anything? Turns his head towards mine, touching his cheek to mine. Aside from the rope, no. It's hard to say whether or not I believe him, or if he's just trying to protect me from whatever else he saw in there. Either way, I don't press for it. The last door is locked. It's big and made of small logs. Its deep brown color contrast with all the others. Raven jiggles the handle a few times. Carl tries to look into the cracks in between the logs, but it's completely black. So that's it. That's all the doors. Starting to feel a certain level of panic again. That we know that, now that we know we're stuck. Carl, I think, picks up on that and comes over to where I'm leaning against the wall to set a hand on my shoulder. It's all right, man. We haven't checked the attic either. I mean, there aren't any windows. So, like you said, we're probably in a basement or something, right? The reassuring hand feels good, but it's not exactly enough to keep me from feeling a certain level of despair. Honestly, I think I'm still dreaming right now. I doesn't say anything to that. Raven settles up next to us.
Well, dream or not, I'm still pretty hungry.
Look at this Raven.
We both glance at Raven. I can't help but give a little laugh at the grin on his face. Guess at least for now, it's best just not to think about it. Okay, the bar music's playing. This usually signifies relief. We head back to the kitchen, which doesn't take very long because every door we left leads to it. Oh, every door on the left leads to it. We split up and search the many cupboards and drawers at the kitchen for food. We come up mostly empty, only finding silverware, kitchen utensils here and there. Because of my injury, I cover a lot less ground, only able to hobble along the counter, pressing as a crutch as I move down the line of cupboards. Even if we were able to find any food, there's no way I'd be able to cook it. The only thing I'd ever been able to make on my own was a grilled cheese sandwich back when I was in high school. You sad man, you are no better than Leo, and Leo's a dumbass for thinking you could cook.
No, he can make a grilled cheese. Leo eats TV dinners.
Oh god, it's so depressing. I'm not sure if grilled cheese in this particular. I don't think if that's I don't think that's a point for Chase in the cooking department. I mean, it's more than Leo, but Leo is 0.
Bone apple tea, your cheese sandwich.
Osteoporosis. Even then, I'd almost burned down the house when I dropped a piece of bread on the gas stove. So, quick story. Let's talk about the time I tried making Yorkshire pudding. I found a recipe. Now, Yorkshire pudding, you make an egg batter, and then you pour it into a muffin tin with oil in it. As it cooks, you know, the oil creates a seal around the batter, and then the moisture gets trapped and they start to expand. Sometimes they're called popovers, and they're actually really good. I'd love to make them again, but the first time I made them, the recipe I found was made by a woman who did not put down the amount of oil I should put in each tin. She just like, oh, just eyeball it, sweetie. And the oil overflowed. It caused a small fire in my oven. Smoke was all over the house, and eventually the fire snuffed itself out, which was a huge relief. But I was incredibly pissed that this happened. And then I did make them again, but this time I made sure to find a recipe that actually had a measurement for the oil. And they came out great. But I hate that woman, and I hope terrible things happen to her.
Yorkshire puddings are pretty good.
They are. I love them. Even then, it almost burned. Oh yeah. Oh, what was it? The one I made was a little eggy though, so I'm just like, I can't see myself eating this with jam. But don't know.
Why would
Maybe
you
I
do
should
a
actually.
jam?
Because apparently that's a thing some people do. I looked it up, and
No,
apparently some
no,
people do
it's
that.
it's a roast dinner. I mean, maybe like some kind of a chutney, or not a chutney. I don't cranberry maybe if you were going for like a big roast dinner kind of a deal. But
They're mostly paired with
jam?
savory stuff. That's a. Okay, I'm relieved to hear that. Because when the second recipe's all like, oh, you can have it with like jam or whatever, and I'm like, this tastes too eggy and savory to
No,
be paired with jam.
it's like a roast chicken and roast vegetables and mashed potato and gravy, and you fill your pudding up with gravy. That's what you do. So that's what they're all about.
I'll have to try that. In a panic, I threw the flaming bread across the kitchen into the living room.
Why did you do that? Why not the sink?
Why not
It's
the
probably,
sink,
yeah.
Oh
The
my
sink.
God.
It's right there.
You can only feel the sensations my brain had right now. Oh my God. Smile at the memory as I open the last cupboard along the wall, and in front of me is a block of cheese on a glass plate. Next to it, a loaf of bread in plastic bagging, and a small square of butter wrapped in a wax paper. I stare at it for a moment, waiting for the food in front of me to disappear. I even blink a few times to be sure. Okay, this is making me laugh because it's just like, I can only make grilled cheese. Oh, but look at that.
Exactly. He's imagined it into existence.
Yeah. Guys? What's up? You seen this?
What?
Cheese, bread, and butter. I stand on the side and Raven picks up.
Ooh, found food. I swear I already checked that cupboard.
Raven is next to me a few seconds later, reaching to take the food out. For a moment, I swear the bread blurs as he pulls it out, and I even shut my eyes for a moment to keep from feeling sick. He'll call support me from behind with his hands on my shoulders. Oh, dude, you all right, Chase? Grab on the counter again. Yeah, it's just. Oh, waits for a moment. What? I was thinking about grilled cheese before I opened the cupboard.
Like you just wanted a grilled cheese sandwich really badly and it popped up?
Sort of.
Oh.
Carl walks up to the bread and bends over, observing it closely. It looks real.
It is real.
Raven walks up to the cupboard where he had pulled food from and closes it.
Alright. I'm wishing for a steak.
He closes his eyes for a moment and then reaches up to pull the cupboard back, smiling expectantly. It's empty.
Well, grilled cheese isn't bad.
Raven moves down the counter to grab one of the pans hanging from the rack.
Okay, real quick, you're going to have to explain to me what grilled cheese actually is. I
All
think
right.
it's a toasty.
It is
but
a
I'm not too sure.
toasty. So you
It is a
put
toasty,
yeah, you melt the
okay,
butter
yeah.
on the pan. You put a piece of
Yeah.
bread on it. It soaks it up. You put the cheese, the other bread.
Yeah.
Some people put bread or the butter on the bread directly, and then no,
That's what we would do.
it's just a griddled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
Carl moves over to my side as Raven turns the gas stove with the click, click, click of the igniter. Dude, I think one of the important things to do right now is to stop questioning this place. You just can't make sense of it. I fold my arms. It has to be a dream. Carl puts an arm around me. Maybe, but dude, I'm just glad I'm not here alone. Not in agreement. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to deal with that. Let's take it one step at a time for now. Yeah, one step at a time for now, man. I manage a small smile. Are you high right now? Carl laughs. Man, I wish. I hear the sizzling of the melting butter as Raven pops it onto the pan. Carl and I go about setting slices of cheese in the bread as Raven starts searing them. The action of making food is enough to calm down at least a little, and the other two keeping high spirits lifts mine. That reminds me, we have fried shrimp, and I bought a bread loaf from work. I might make me a shrimp po' boy for lunch. Before long, there are 6 grilled cheese sandwiches stacked on a plate. They look good, but after the first bite, I almost let the food fall back out of my mouth. What the fuck? I look over and see Carl pulling similar faces.
It kind of tastes like chalk.
Oh no.
No.
Yo, you know what chalk tastes like?
Yeah, I ate some when I was a kid.
He has a point. It's drying crumbly, almost inedible.
It's full of calcium, good for your bones.
Well, it still sort of tastes like grilled cheese. Sort of. I don't think this is food.
It's not that bad. Besides, it's all we got.
He forces another bite, and so does Carl. I can't bring myself to do it. My ankle, the smoke, the dead body smell, and news. It's all too much for me to deal with right now. Watch Carl and Raven talk back and forth, and I'm again stuck by how surreal this all feels. Stuck or struck? Struck. I think back to the time I first got stoned from a stupid pot muffin. Who the fuck puts pot in a muffin of all things? A chocolate bar, a brownie. I've never been a chocolate. Like the reason why chocolate's such a commonly used food to mix with weed or THC is because the chocolate can overpower that god awful taste of that plant. No, nothing felt. Oh yeah. Okay, so how nothing felt real. How I felt like I wasn't in control. It's like only 10 times worse. I wonder if the others feel the same. I don't think I've gotten that high before. Even when I was having the weird, when I got super high from those edibles with Alphador and I was remembering everything through like a weird filter. I still felt some semblance of control. I could see how this would be the case for someone like Chase though. Something ebbs to the surface of my mind, trying to break through a veil of fog shrouding my mind. What are we doing? We're sitting here eating when we should be trying to figure out a way to get the fuck out. We're trying to stay calm, dude. I opened my mouth. Oh. I struggle to keep the food down and instead choose to look hard at the tablecloth.
You not hungry?
Raven is looking intently at my half-finished sandwich. Nah, you can have it. I slide my glass plate across the table to Raven. Carl retches, but doesn't say anything, slowly chewing. I consciously note that he had eaten around the crust, leaving those on his plate. We start discussing what else we might be able to do here, other possibilities, and how we could get out. The attic is really the only place we haven't been yet, but because it's so dark, we're not sure about going in. I say we break one of the legs off the chairs and we make a torch.
Yeah, I was thinking we better make a torch.
Oh, why don't we sleep on it and figure out what we'll do when we wake up? Raven yawns wildly. Sounds good.
It feels good to me. Feels like it's been hours.
Does feel that way, but without our phones, it's impossible to tell. Leaving our plates, okay, leaving our plates where they are on the table, Raven leads us back out into the hallway. Takes a few minutes to find the right door, considering everything looks identical, though we take special care to avoid the damaged door. Raven moves into the bedroom. Carl leans against the wall, turning his head to talk to me. Hey, we're gonna be all right, okay? Look back at him with I look back at the one green eye I can see, and will myself to squash the boiling pit of dread in my stomach. Okay. It's just, I can't believe this is happening, you know? I gotcha. I just want you to know, I'll be here for you, okay? Look back at the gaze for a while to the point where I think he's getting uncomfortable. I sigh. You guys are just acting really weird about all this. Yeah? Well, I guess Raven is being Raven, but you're acting different. Really? How? Oh, the transition between the smile to that face, like, that kind of hurt. I swallow. Just yesterday, you were throwing up over a job interview, and now you're the level-headed one while I'm freaking out. I laugh a little. I just don't understand what's going on is all. Carl sets me down against the wall, then turns me with a hug. Hey man, I don't know either. I'm just trying to keep it together too. The hug surprises me, but I take it gratefully. I stare over his shoulder at the uniform hallway. Despite Carl's efforts, the worrying feeling returns. Raven pokes his head around the doorway.
Hey guys, that little sofa thing is awesome. I'll sleep there. You two can have the bed.
Oh shit, we were here the whole day?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Knife.
Ugh.
I'll call up the kitchen. I love that song.
And of course I dream. What song is that?
The good old call.
Look at the
Don't
little
listen to it. It's messed up. It's
Yeah.
so messed up.
I mean,
It's-
I've had my fair share of really messed up songs too.
No, it is amazing. So listen to it because it's amazing.
I forgot who sang it, but there was that one song, "Change," that that was a deep song. I'm running through endless hallways, all kinds of hallways, including one that looked like a space station and another that looked like a medieval castle. Are we going through alternate universes right now? In each one, I run into locked doors. Because of this, I can't only move through the halls. Because of this, I can only move through the halls, never knowing what's behind those doors. Eventually, I wake up. My dread limbs and heavy head tell me I'm not fully awake. I brace myself and shut my eyes again. My heart thumps and my stomach churns with the disappointment of knowing I'm still in that fucking bedroom. The one that tells me I'm still stuck in a nightmare, that's beyond the one I'm currently in. I feel things move about the room, hear things that sound like whining, crying, and screaming. Then I hear something in the ceiling moving above me. It has many. Oh my god. It has many legs like a spider that weighs hundreds of pounds. And then I'm free. Oh, this is the bedroom? Damn, this old fashioned as fuck. I hold still as the gradual release of the paralysis seeps through my muscles and joints. At this point, I feel like I've mostly learned how to cope with the nightmares. That thought would make me happy if I wasn't so crushed that I'm still here in this actual nightmare. Immediately, anxiety rises back up in my chest as I realize how fucked up this actually is, how much sense it doesn't actually make. As far as I can tell, we've been drugged somehow and moved to this underground hellhole as an experiment of some kind. Someone in Echo had to have done this. One of the crazy old people, maybe Duke. He probably built this underground maze just to watch us lose our minds, probably getting off to it at the same time. Grip the bed sheets and grit my teeth, grimacing at the ceiling as I try not to cry. That had to be it. This isn't some kind of supernatural alternate dimension. This is real and someone's fucking with us. Probably being watched by cameras that are set up in corners and peepholes right now. The idea sends a shiver down my spine, and I glance to my left, scanning the wall for any inconsistencies. We need to get out of here as soon as possible as we can, and the sooner we start moving, the better. I hear the small whining grunt to my left at that moment and look over, only to find that Carl isn't in the bed next to me. I stare for a moment at the tangled mess of sheets on the side of the bed, trailing off the side. Carl? Another grunt. Then I hear Carl. At least I think it's Carl. His voice is deep and raspy. It sounds like he's trying sort of weird accent that I've never heard him use before. My name. Soiled. Oh, I stood up, and that's when I see something sitting next to the bed. Oh my god.
What's this?
The unveiling of Echo's newest Baphomet statue.
Oh, his seat's the horns. I thought it was like 3 people. But it's the horns, isn't it?
I actually really like this image. It's pretty cool, actually.
Carl, are you starting a cult?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Carl.
I jump and slide back on my ass away from okay, I slide back on my ass away from it, almost falling off the other side of the bed. Staring at a few seconds longer allows me to make out a clear shape of horns under the bed sheet. Carl is sitting next to the bed sheet with sitting next to the bed with a white sheet over his head, swaying back and forth gently. What the fuck, Carl? Oh, I shout whisper to him. An early explanation sounding way too loud in this quiet room. Look over at Raven, but somehow he's still curled up on the sofa, fast asleep. Turning my attention to Carl, I jump up again and see that he's straightening at me, or would be staring at me. Oh, that he's staring straight at me, or would be staring at me. There wasn't a sheet in the way. Carl, what are you doing? This isn't fucking funny at all. Push myself off the bed, leaning against it to take the weight off my swollen ankle, now to twice its original size. Yeah. Oh god. As I stand, as I stand
We're
in
gonna
front
have
of
to
Carl,
amputate. If only there was a way we could manage that.
I reach out and take the sheet off his head, but I hesitate. The horns, they're bigger than they should be, and the voice is so different. Oh, should I be using a filter for this? Probably not. It's still Carl.
No, it's still Carl.
Carl? Carl, you're scaring the shit out of me. My voice is weak and it cracks at the end as I lose my nerve. Had this place been getting to Carl more than he'd been letting on? But maybe he was sleepwalking? I remember him doing that when he slept over at my house years ago. I reach out again, more slowly this time, but again I hesitate. I can't shake the feeling that if I pull it off, it won't be Carl. Only the hornhead shakes back and forth violently, grunting, reaching a fever pitch. Shocked, I fall back on my rear, helping as my ankle is jolted. I lean back on my hands, watching with wide eyes. Shaking is so wild, the sheet starts to slip off. His head, whatever is under the sheet, is trying to shake it off. I brace myself, watching as the sheet slides slowly as the horns reveal. Carl. Of course it's Carl. He stares back at me with blurry eyes like he's just woken up. I swallow hard. Carl? Carl, what are you doing? He's silent for a moment and then finally speaks. I know what to do.
Where are we supposed to be looking?
Anywhere, but I know it's here. I lean uselessly against the dining room table again, watching. I'm biting my lip, trying not to lose my cool, trying to absorb everything Carl had just told me. You said James Hendricks himself came to you in your dream, right? Carl also doesn't look at me. Yep. And he told you that you can find something? Carl gets on his hands and knees and looks under the stove. I know it sounds stupid, but that's what happened. I frown. You know, I had a dream about a giant spider crawling through the ceiling, but that doesn't mean anything that I'm going to be searching, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be searching around for a giant spider in the ceiling. Oh man, maybe that's what's in the attic.
Yeah.
No,
You might not go looking for it, Chase, but it's looking for you.
No, this was different. I've never had a dream like this before. No, this was different. I've never had a dream like that before. He stands back up and looks right at me. It felt like he was actually in my brain telling me. Looked back at him for a while, not wanting to tell him he's going crazy just like I am. Well, it's kind of vague to just tell you what you need to find something, isn't it? He told me other stuff. Carl moves closer, starting to look through the various decorum of the dining room. Like what? Carl lifts up a vase and then looks inside. Said this place is chaos, a leftover memory from the old house. That still doesn't really make any sense. And that he organized it for us into separate sections to help us figure out and clear his name so we can get out of here. Hold on. I have like a hair clip on to keep my hair together and it's slipping.
It's an escape room, guys. We're gonna solve puzzles. It's gonna be fun.
Oh boy. I don't think we're getting a $500 cash prize after this.
No, definitely not.
I was clearing James Hendricks' name and going to end this. Okay, hold on. Let me just tie this up. Okay, there we go. I throw my hands in the air to gesture at everything that this is. I'll tell you now, he's queer. Carl bends down to look under the dining room table, then stands up right in front of me. What else do we have to go off of? We'll go off on.
Hey, I found something weird.
Well, that's as good as any. We both look over at Raven, who holds up a corkscrew. Carl turns his back to me, ignoring the husky. We find it, that locked door will open and we'll be able to get out. If he's here, why doesn't he just show up himself and do this for us? He said he's weak, and that there are other forces in this house that have more control than he does. He can only do so much. I gape at him. Do you hear yourself right now? Carl frowns and then moves past me. What does his name even need to be cleared of? I feel tears starting to sting my eyes because now I think I'm the only one here who realizes how crazy this all is. Well, you guys get what's actually going on here? Raven steps rustling through the drawers and looks up at me.
You okay, Chase?
No, because someone fucking kidnapped us and put us in this crazy maze dungeon, and we should be trying to figure out how we can get out. It's quiet for a moment as Raven and Carl exchange glances.
It's okay, Chase. We're gonna get out of here.
I lean my head back in despair, about to cover my face with my hands when something catches my eye. In the chandelier, a small white envelope is wedged between the glass ornaments.
The first clue!
The first clue found by the one losing it. I squint to make sure that it's not my watering eyes creating an illusion. Yes, there's definitely an envelope up there. Diamond patterns from the crystal cast across its surface. Guys? Carl ignores me as he continues to shuffle through things on the counter behind us. Carl, I found something. I point straight up at the chandelier above me. Carl stops and finally moves next to me, looking up. Is that a letter? It looks like it. Do you think... Is that what you're looking for? Carl gets up on the table, wobbling slightly as he reaches up to pull the envelope from the crystals. With a heavy thump, he drops back down to the floor. I'm skeptical of everything right now, but as I get a closer look at the letter, I start to recognize it. That kind of looks like the same envelope your mom collected. Carl picks up the envelope, turning it over. Kind of. It just says John on the front. Carl opens the flap to empty out its contents. Isn't that the guy that... Whoa. Oh, God! The letter lights up and what sounds like a match being struck accompanies the flash. Carl gasps and drops the letter, shaking his hands.
It's on fire.
Shit, put it out. I stupidly wonder if the light had somehow set the letter on fire as Carl was trying to smother the letter with his sleeve. At that moment, a great moaning sound shakes the walls, almost knocking me off my feet and sending plates crashing to the floor. I cling to the table as the plates fall from the counter. The chandelier swings above us. The deep groaning coalesces into a scream that makes me clap my ears over my eyes. Carl is staring at the ceiling, his eyes wide when we hear another hissing sound. I jerk my head to look back in time to see a gush of inky black smoke burst from the stove, another scream accompanying it. It rushes straight towards us. For a moment, I see the outline of what looks like a mouth and eyes in the smoke before it engulfs me. My senses are completely smothered. It feels like something is slamming up against my chest, and all my air is gone to be replaced by unbreathable smoke. Its consistency is like water, filling my ears and eyes. I scream into the emptiness, but I can't hear myself over the cacophony that sounds like rushing water mixed with muffled screams and explosions. I fall to my knees and then curl up on the ground into a ball, praying that the savage thing killing me would stop. Just as I'm starting to give in, something grabs the scruff of my neck hard and yanks me up so violently my teeth clack together. The fingers are unmistakably hooved. The letter, you fucking idiot! Then I'm shoved forward to find myself laying flat against the dining room table. Completely blind, I feel around before finding the letter. I clumsily rip the envelope apart, grabbing the letter inside. Then, like a massive vacuum being turned on, the smoke is sucked out of the room along with the horrible screaming and roaring. In an instant, the room is quiet again, and I slump back to the floor, gasping for breath. Carl is right next to me, curled up in the same position that I was. Raven is whimpering, his face in hands and his rear in the air. Carl coughs a few times, wheezing because he's used to it. His lungs are filled up with smoke. He's fine. Carl coughs a few times, wheezing in air before he looks at me and the envelope clutched in my hands.
Guys, do you think someone was killed in this kitchen in a fire back in time or something?
I have a feeling maybe a few people were killed, or maybe one person died and that person's death pissed off a lot of people, or hell, even some already spirits that were already here. I don't know. I did not see Poltergeist in its entirety.
I'm back.
All right, we just had like a Poltergeist moment.
Ooh.
What the hell just happened? Are you okay? I can't respond. I leaned back against the chairs tucked under the table for a moment, gathering my wits. Carl? Yeah? If that James guy tells you anything else, just tell me and we'll do it. Carl breathes in heavily in response. Raven, are you okay? It's a few feet in front of us, his knees. On his knees, tongue hanging out as he gasps.
Good. You know, that's what I saw yesterday.
Yeah, I gathered that. He was short, humorous laugh. That, and also that I'm done asking questions. I just want to get out of here. After a few minutes of clutching our breaths, I turn my attention back to the letter. What the fuck is
The
this
music's
music
back!
again?
This is the problem-solving music. We're here to solve the puzzle, the fun puzzle, because we're in an escape room.
That seems to be the case, yeah. Sorry. Somehow it's completely undamaged despite catching on fire. It feels crisp and new, and the ink almost looks fresh. It definitely looks like it came out from one of the bins in the crawl space. But if that were the case, then there's no way it could be in the great condition it's in. Okay, this music's making me laugh because it's like, all right, kids, put on your thinking caps. The letter itself is short, and I start to read it out loud. My dearest John, the militia grows more agitated by the hour, and I fear that they will demand a search of this mansion. If that does indeed occur, I will do everything in my utmost power to hold them off. I look over at Carl, wondering if he just wanted to read the letter instead, but he's looking right at me. They will never find the room I left you in, do not fear. Carl moves closer to me, his hand reaching out to grab my shoulder. Carl? If they do as much as lay a finger on your head, it will be the last thing they ever do. If I can even move, Carl leans in and kisses me?
What's happening?
I'm just able to get a glimpse of Raven's shocked face before I'm practically smothered by Carl's soft, warm nose and lips. I freeze, my shoulders tensing. It's not that I'm not enjoying it, it's just that the kiss was so unwarranted. I'm not sure how long it lasts, but I never make a move to stop it. And then Carl pulls back. It's awkward that he's looking just as confused as I am. They're openly staring at us. Carl lowers his ears and his nose growing pink.
What happened?
Sorry, I don't know why I just did that. I clear my throat. Don't worry about it. This place is doing weird things to me too.
Oh, that was cute.
Raven, could you help me up? I mostly asked him so I don't dwell on what just happened. Carl clears his throat. Well, I think the door is open now. Let's go check. You know, we know Carl and Jenna have familial history in this town. We're getting to wonder if maybe Chase does? Because if Hendrix is getting into his head...
I don't know.
I'm wondering if that was Hendrix.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, Carl was staring straight at Chase. He wasn't looking at the letter.
He wasn't looking at the letter.
So he was basically repeating what was on the paper. So that might be Hendrix.
I'm just wondering. Well, there's an otter character. No, they're a weasel. Never mind.
I'm just trying to remember what we know about what happened to James.
Yeah.
What we learned.
I don't know. He struck gold and started an ice cream shop. That's not a fucking huge conglomerate.
He also committed sodomy.
Yeah, with
Oh fuck, that's right.
So I think, yeah, I'm wondering if, like, Carl as James perceived Chase as
a lover.
The Fennec. Yeah, I forget their name.
John Begay?
That's it. That might have been it.
Oh man, that makes me wonder.
Because they got thrown out. They got thrown out of the town because of it. Is that not right? Is that not what happened?
No, they lynched John and he left.
Right. So that's probably what that letter is about. They were
that's probably what the noose is about.
That's what the noose is about. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the door's open now. Let's go check. Make our way slowly down the hall. Fuck! Has every kiss just been Hendrix possessing Carl?
Well, definitely that one, probably. But I don't know about the other. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the kiss on the cheek one he was high during that one and very emotionally vulnerable. So I'm not gonna count that one. We make our way slowly down the hall, Raven just behind us. I'm leaning closer to Carl's ear so the husky can't hear. So, is that really you, or did your great whatever take control again? I don't know. I think I was still in control. It just felt like the right thing to do, you know? It looks like you already knew what the letter said. Yeah. For him to go on, but he doesn't. Oh. what does he need his name cleared for anyway? Being gay? I don't think people would care about that stuff anymore. No, we already sort of knew that. Besides, that was basically a love letter. So, what is it that he thinks has ruined his legacy? Carl thinks. I guess the idea that he just allowed his lover to die? I think people believe that he sort of just left John to die, didn't really try to save him. This whole mess seems like a pretty roundabout way to go about that, in my opinion, but like I said earlier, I'm done asking questions. Well, it was kind of nice. The kiss, I mean. Guy looks back at me with one green eye. Yeah? I smile a little bit. I guess the fact that something had been growing between us since the beginning of this week is pretty undeniable. And now we're here in a crazy alternate dimension with smoke monsters. So, well, fuck it, I guess. I lean forward and kiss big soft cheek. Yeah. Carl grins and is about to say something when I catch movement in the corner of my eye. Immediately afterwards, I hear a dull thump and Carl grunts as his eyes bulging before he crumbles, sending me to the floor with him.
It happened.
All right. Oh my God.
I yelp as my ankle bangs against the floor and I roll onto my back teeth, gritting, straining to reach down and hold my foot. Whatever just hit us is standing over me now. I raise my hand feebly to hold off the next blow. When it doesn't come, I lower it slowly and look up.
Jenna?
What?
Dun, dun, dun.
What the fuck is she doing here?
Well, it's all connected to our great grandfather.
Yeah,
So
zombie.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. I want to know what it is that got her in here. Shit, did she? Wait, a day's passed. She might have broken into the. She might have broken into the house. Yeah, and got into the crawl space. Then stands there stoically, holding what looks like a small wooden
I'll
stool.
read Jenna.
Please.
Okay. That's you.
Oh, Jenna, what? How did you get here? Jenna slowly sets the stool down, slowly seemingly to recognize me. Yeah. I lean forward to feel my ankle, the pain radiating from it in hot pulses.
Ace? Are you okay? What happened to your leg?
I sprained it.
Hey, Jenna. It's been a while.
Look over at Carl, who's still curled up on his side, his arms wrapped around himself. Carl, you okay? Then to Jenna. Did you hit him? Jenna walks past Carl and crouches down next to my leg. This looks really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah, Carl, are you okay? Carl grunts and turns over to face us, a hand to his chest. Jenna, what the fuck was that? Jenna looks at my ankle a while longer, standing up and looking around.
Just ignoring him.
When it doesn't look like she's going to answer, Carl sits up. How did you find us here? Raven perks up.
Yeah, is there a way out?
Jenna finally looks down at Carl, and I note the complete lack of concern in her eyes.
I came to your house looking for TJ and ended up going to the basement.
She got into
Well,
Carl's
that's
face. She looks down the hall again.
And I ended up here somehow. I blacked out before I did, so I don't know how to get out.
Carl stands up, wearily eyeing the stool wheeled by loosely in Jenna's hand before bending down to help me back up. You're like, okay? He grunts into my ear as he slides I'm over his shoulder and slowly pulls me back onto his back. Mostly, I think I kind of twisted it up again. Carl grunts again and turns to Jenna, now with me on his back. Well, that's pretty fucked up. You just randomly swinging at someone around the corner. Now, what's fucked up?
What's fucked up is waking up in a place you have no memory of going to.
The sharp muzzle points right at Carl, glaring. Carl stutters for a second, clearly not expecting to have Jenna snap back at him. Hey, this isn't my fault. We have no idea where we're at either.
Why are you guys fighting?
Raven instantly looked between the two of them as his ears perked. It's a good question, and I watched Jenna closely over at Carl's shoulder. She just goes at Carl, arms folded. Did she blame him for this somehow? After a few seconds of awkward silence, Carl speaks up. Well, you hit me for one. I don't know why you are so mad at me. Looks back at Carl and I see a tenseness in her shoulders slowly loosen.
I'm sorry. I'm just a little uptight after waking up here. Hey, you're taking it better than us. Chase was freaking out for hours.
I give Raven a side glance.
Well, things have been going crazy since you two left the lake.
Ah, fuck.
Well, obviously.
We guess ending up in this fucking nightmare dimension?
Not just that.
Then it sits the stool down on the carpet before sticking out her forearm. Oh, accidentally hit save.
What have you done, Gordon?
Accidentally hit the config.
No!
That's when I see her when I see crusted blood in the fur. In her fur in the form of 3 long lines. What the?
They attacked me.
What? The sentences doesn't seem to fit together. TJ attacked? Why?
I have no idea.
The faraway vacant look Jenna had in her eyes earlier is fading to be replaced by a more concerned expression. I better know her for.
He's been losing it ever since Flynn tried to grab him at the lake.
I start to feel a little sick in my stomach. Why?
He wouldn't tell me. He was just acting anxious, kept looking over his shoulder.
Isn't he sort of like that most of the time? Holds her arm and shakes her head.
No, he kept looking around and kept saying he was seeing things.
She stops short. Like what? Jenna looks up.
Sydney,
Oh. We're quiet for a while.
it seems all the rumors about this town are true. Everyone is crazy.
This isn't normal at all, even in Echo. Jenna looks at Raven.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Raven grins.
Oh, no worries. I'm Raven.
He sticks out a hand. Jenna looks at it before turning to me.
Wow.
Hey, something was going on with Leo too. He kept asking around for you. Then he ran off saying he had to take care of some things.
Oh, I don't know why. I try to think of what Leo might have wanted from me, but I draw a blank. It could be anything.
Anyway, I've been trying to find TJ for ages. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Tried Carl's house since I ran out of any other option.
Jenna goes quiet and then reaches her pocket and pulls out her phone, holding it up, clearly looking for a signal.
Just as I got to your house, Carl, I heard popping sounds.
And sighs and puts her phone away again.
Gunshots, I'm pretty sure. Coming from Main Street. Something's been happening to everyone.
Slides her hands into her back pockets, looking around.
And now this.
Wow. So something fucked up. So something fucked up is happening all over town. Thinking about Leo and TJ, my stomach twists at the thought of them being out there. I could only hope that they were able to get out somehow.
At this point, I'm just waiting to wake up.
We all are.
Yeah, especially after the giant smoke monster chased us around the dining room.
What?
What?
Looks at me and Carl. Carl glances back at me, as if asking me to be the one to explain the impossibility that had just happened. I take a breath, trying to think of how I'm going to say this. So, I think at this point you're going to have to just go with whatever this place throws at you, Jenna.
Yeah, we all kind of just accepted what's been happening.
Well, we have to. Otherwise, it would just be us sitting around here freaking out about how crazy this all is, and not doing anything about it. And so far, we've at least been moving things forward. Jenna stares at us.
What happened?
Oh boy, one explanation later. They all stand in front of the wooden door in the half circle, none of us wanting to open it.
So this is all to clear James' name.
Seems that way.
But why go through all of this trouble?
Rest my good foot on the carpeted floor while I... Hold on. Hello?
Just hear a squeal. Gordon has to answer. Huh? Huh? You'll be doing this.
Damn. Shit do be going down in Echo.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works.
Yes. So, fun fact, this is the only route that has a very important choice to make at the mid part
Okay.
of the final
Oh.
Sorry
chapter.
about that.
So,
I I I heard what sounded like my sister giving like a yell. I think Cleo bit. Oh no, Leo bit Cleo, and she freaked the fuck out.
uh,
That's why I was just like, hold on, because I was just like, that sounded like my sister, but no, it was Cleo because Leo doesn't know how to not play rough. Oh
mm,
my god, that made my heart come out of my body right now. Fuck.
the Echo madness is getting to you. Hee hee.
Fuck. Okay. Where was I? Okay, I rest my good foot on the carpeted floor while I lean on Carl's back, wanting to give him some relief from carrying me all the time. Probably because of the smoke monster thing, it's trying to stop him. Maybe it's making all of these obstacles?
Mm,
Jenna had taken a whole description of what had happened in the dining room pretty well. She listened silently while I'd explained what had happened so far. I think the reason why she's okay with this is because, she's been seeing Socket Man since her childhood.
mhm.
So I guess if we can get his story straight, maybe get out to the town. Maybe get it out to the town about what really happened. We might be able to get out of here. And his eyes the door. You
You
think that
think that there's maybe a reason why this monster doesn't want James to get this information out?
we're quiet for a moment? Well, we don't have much else to go on. Again, there's a long pause as we all contemplate what the hell might be behind the door. That pause is broken by an uncertain husky, though, as his white hand suddenly reaches out to grasp the handle.
Maybe we've already done what needs to be done. I'll bet this gets us home.
Raven! The heavy door pulls open slowly with an unearthly squeal. For a
Oh,
brief moment
Jesus.
that I'm conscious, I see the black square in front of me that grows in size until it takes up my entire vision. My muscles in my back and neck seize up and my teeth clench together as my head jerks back. And then I'm falling again.
Oh no.
Okay. There's a rhythmic
You need to
throbbing in
go
my
deeper.
head, but it's hard to decide if it's coming from the inside of my head or outside. Next sense to come back to me is touch. I feel a cold, hard surface under my back, probably wood, judging by the way my claws sink into it. Shift around in a little while, but don't feel like I'm getting up just yet. Smell is musty and old. I'm reminded of my grandpa's woodshed, a place I'd often go when I played hide and seek. The drumming sound continues, and the rhythm makes me think that it's definitely coming from the outside of my body. Sounds tribal in a way. Where am I? On the edges of my memory are troubling images of endless halls and rooms, the smell of decay, and a noose. But I feel like if I block it all out and just go back to sleep, I can erase all of it. I almost succeed, but then something brings me right out of my reverie.
Carl, Chase.
I grimace, the voice reminding me of something dark and cloudy.
Help!
Oh no, I get it.
The much louder yelp that follows has me rolling on my side, cracking my eyes open blearily.
Oh goodness.
I'm in a dark room, very dark, the source of light coming from what looks like a candle on the bedside table. A large bed sits next to it. I'm laying near the foot of this bed, and opposite me, I can barely make out the wall next to which is a wooden box.
Help!
Raven's plaintive moan forces me on my feet, my joints cracking uncomfortably. As I drag my right foot up to stand under me, a blinding pain flashes up my leg, sending bright white across my vision. A little muffled scream of pain behind my clenched teeth, closing my eyes as I wait for it to subside. Memories are starting to flow back to me. There's a doorway in front of me, and I start to make my way towards it, hopping slowly on my left foot, holding my right off the ground. I came into a small hallway, one that branches to my left into a corridor of darkness. Right in front of me, however, is a set of stairs. Light glows at the bottom, and I'm pretty sure that's where Raven's voice is coming from. In fact, I'm pretty sure I could hear other voices coming from there as well. I look down at my ankle, wincing as I see that it's gotten even bigger, more than twice its original size. I'm starting to think that it's more than a sprain.
Ugh.
As I make my way down the stairs, cringing with every light hop, my stomach starts to sink. I remember now the weird mansion that we were just in, the doors and the hallways and the smoke monster. And the door we just went through. Whatever's happening to us isn't over yet. Reach the bottom of when I reach the bottom of the stairs, I find Jenna and Carl standing around a tall brown wardrobe. As I stand there breathing heavily, Carl turns to see me. Chase. He immediately rushes to my side, his hooves clapping loudly against the wooden floor. I think he's simply coming over to support me, but he wraps me in a hug. God, I keep worrying one of us is gonna disappear. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'm fine. I was upstairs in the bedroom, I think. The anxiety I'm feeling over this whole situation goes away just a little, absorbed into the soft warmth of Carl's body. Over Carl's shoulder, I see Jenna watching us, her eyes narrowed, expression dark. I'm about to ask her what's wrong when I hear a loud bang from inside the wardrobe.
Guys, are you still there? I think something's touched me.
Then it turns back into the wardrobe, silent for a moment, then bends down to look at something.
Guys?
I hear a metallic click, and Jenna jumps back as one of the doors swings open and the black and white blur falls out like a rock. Raven face plants neatly into the wooden floor.
Oh, poor
Stays there
guy.
for a moment, moaning into the planks before Jenna bends over to help him up.
This poor
Are
guy
you
getting
alright?
dragged into everybody else's
I
nonsense.
know, right? It's awful.
Are you alright? Yeah, I just felt like something grabbed me.
I look back up into the wardrobe to find a very bare, empty wooden compartment. I'm inclined to believe him, though, after everything that's happened.
Where are we?
It's a good question. And now, with the excitement over, I take the opportunity to look around as well. Everything is wooden, the walls, floors, ceiling. There's a large rug on the floor covered in colorful patterns and shapes. It reminds me of the art projects we do in elementary school when learning about the natives. There's a big stone fireplace, and two rug covered chairs in front of it. Jenna gingerly shuts the wardrobe. So,
So, a log cabin.
does everyone remember where we were before? Yeah, that mansion place.
So we're still stuck in this dimension thing?
Oh boy. We're on level 2, folks.
You are on? Yeah, it's level 2. That's exactly
Level
what it is.
2.
I start rubbing my face with one hand while I lean against Carl with the other. I'd long ago given up on trying to figure out exactly what the hell's going on. Like Carl said earlier, we just have to keep moving and hope we get out of here.
What's that sound?
Jesus.
That drumming that I had heard, that I had thought was coming from within my head has started up again. Drums? A husky moves towards the wall, which consists of several logs stacked horizontally on top of each other.
I can't see anything. Well, the cracks are filled in with stuff.
Look around again, this time more carefully. Right in front of me is a large log door, not unlike the one we initially came through. On my left side, separated by stairs, is what looks like the kitchen side of the room. In it, there's a small table, 2 chairs on either side. There's also a big black wood-burning stove next to a few shelves which are full of pots and pans. Various tools and furniture clutter up the rooms. Oh, and there's a window. I pointed out to Carl. Look, let's try to see out through there. Carl pulls me into a familiar position on his back before clopping over the window. The sounds. Oh, sounds a bit louder with my added weight. Jen and Raven follow behind. There's a ledge next to the window, thankfully, and Carl lets me sit on it. I turn to look out the window while the others crowd around me, resting their heads on a wooden bench. The first thing we notice is a flickering light in the distance about 100 yards away. Cast out across the ground around it. Shadows from rocks and bushes dance about with the movement of illumination. Definitely a fire. A large one. Probably a bonfire? The blackness around the fire is unnatural, though, just like what I saw through the windows in the mansion. It's inky and thick, and has the oppressive air of almost being alive. No other light comes from what I presume to be the sky. That fire being the only signal that anything exists outside the cabin.
Fire.
Even says redundantly.
The drumming. It's coming from it.
Al reaches out, but his hand looks immediately pressed against something. I reach out too. I feel a solid flat surface where the plane of gas might be set up, but it's clear there's nothing visible there. Observe, accept, move on.
Hey, look.
I look up, this time to see something dark flashes across the fire. Disappears into the darkness to the right of the flame, though.
What was that?
Maybe it was a tumbleweed or something?
That's all.
No, it was jumping. Whatever it was.
I feel it prickling along my neck, and now I'm about to. And now I'm not really into the idea of just staring out into the darkness. But then it happens again, and I see what Jen is saying. The dark shape starts at the left side of the fire before passing in the. Was it passing in front of it? I get a brief impression of tails and ears, legs, and arms pumping as if jogging in place. It moves past the flames and disappears into the darkness again. Something's out there. We continue to watch, but the drumbeat dies down, and about after a minute, it's clear nothing's moving around out there anymore.
What was that?
Well, Carl glances at Jenna. The drumbeat sounds kind of native, don't you think? He's clearly waiting for Jenna to confirm. Maybe. Not good sounds before call cops. Well, let's think. We weren't able to get out of the mansion until we found the letter, right? He looks at me. Yeah. I respond automatically. Well, if that's the case, maybe we have to find something in here, right?
I guess that would make sense, but what are we supposed to find? Another letter?
Yeah, didn't someone tell you about finding something that would open the door? Yeah, oh, he made the conscious decision not to mention Hendrix. Yeah, and I think it makes sense that whatever set this up would do it in the same way, right? I stand up staring at the window, my back sore from the twisting motion. I sit straight up on the bench and look back into the cabin. Well, if we're supposed to find another letter, there's a bunch of places to hide it.
Maybe we should try the door first?
Anna walks over to the door and looks it up and down before reaching out to slide back a rusty bolt. To my surprise, it moves with only a little resistance.
Are we sure we want to go out there? I mean, we don't know who that is running around.
Anna hesitates then. Oh god, I think I am getting tired from the reading. Jenna hesitates and then heaves back on the door, but it doesn't budge, not even an inch. Jenna sighs. Raven bounds up next to Jenna before enthusiastically yanking back the handle, yanking back on the handle as well. Again, the door holds fast. Of course. Says at the door moment before returning to us.
Let's take a look around upstairs. If you're supposed to find something, then we should start from the top to bottom. Agreed.
Carl bends down to pick me up, but I rest my paw on his shoulder. Wait, I don't want you to have to drag me everywhere, let alone up and down the stairs. Stops mid-stoop, his face level with mine as he looks at me. Sure? That one will really leave you alone down here. I look back at him, I can't help but note the differences that I'd noticed earlier. His face has harder lines, his full duller, his eyes somehow deeper and wiser. You alright? I break out of my trance and blink. Yeah. I'll just stay down here and look around where I can. Anna and Raven are already Making their way up the stairs, Raven going on about how his family used to have their own log cabin. Alright, but shout if you need anything. I smile. At least I feel like some parts of Carl are still familiar. After the ram heads up the stairs, I lean back on my little bench, letting my head tilt back as I close my eyes. Even in this new environment, everything is still feeling surreal. I've come to welcome this feeling, though. Well, not much we really can do. Nice little barrier to everything that's happening right now. Some ways I can still pretend that this is a dream. Oh, now that I'm thinking it's a dream, that I'm somehow stuck in one of my paralyses. Maybe I'm in the hospital right now and they're trying to figure out how to pull me out of it. Oh, that has me feeling like I'm being watched by being watched and the fur prickles are on my neck. So it would be kind of awkward if all those doctors are watching me right now. Maybe Carl and Jenna are there too. And Leo and Flynn and TJ. The feeling gets stronger, so I turn back around to look out the window. It's still silent, and the lone little flame in the distance continues to flicker around the rocks and sagebrush. Makes me wonder how endless this world is. If we're in the type of ghost dimension being manipulated by what are basically ghost gods, then will this whole ordeal be never ending? The thought twists my stomach, so I stop thinking about it. I turn back around and force my eyes to start scanning the kitchen from top to bottom, looking for something, anything that might stand out. I assume I'm looking for a letter, but again, if the rules are limitless in this world, then there's no telling what it might be that we're supposed to find next. Think about vocally asking James or whatever the hell it is for some help. Maybe some kind of hint at least. There's no way I'm gonna do that without the others with me. I'm thinking about pushing off the bench to start limping around the kitchen when a small scratching sound catches my attention. I hold still, and then lean back, tilting my ear towards the sound. It's muffled and a bit distant, but it's coming directly to my left. Yeah. Is it happening from the outside of the cabin? My fur prickles and I think about calling Carl. I can hear the three of them stomping around, talking to each other in muffled voices from upstairs. I turn around again, this time a little more tentatively. The dancing bonfire continues to grow quietly, no other movement aside from the shadows. This time a rustling sound comes from that same spot and I instinctively turn my eyes in its direction. Carl? I raise my voice only a little bit, but the conversation carries upstairs as if I hadn't said anything. I look up at the ceiling and then back out the window. The rustling sound continues, this time in earnest, as if something's twisting around in the brush. It's coming from just out of view of the window, right at the base of the house. I hold my breath and lean forward, stretching my neck up to get a better angle and peer down into the darkness. It's really too dark to see much, or at least it's what I was thinking. Almost as if it has its own glow, a bright white face stares back at me from the blackness.
Who could have thunk?
Who could that be, I wonder? My mind blanks and my body seizes up. Just like that, I'm in a paralysis, forced to stare down at the white face, the black eyes. God, we just can't fucking get away from you, can we? Even in another route.
Oh, I see.
I think it's Socket Man. It's as if the thing is holding me with its gaze, but as it does, its features become more definable. Ears?
Maybe not.
I see tall ears, a long pointy muzzle, a band of some type across the thing's forehead. Stop it. Something says it very deliberately, even through their teeth, right in my ear. Deliberately through their teeth in my ear. At the same time, the face flickers and fuzzes, like a TV picture with bad reception. The head twitches and shifts. Then the muzzle opens and... Should I voice mod this?
It's up to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's gonna be more, but...
Oh. Oh, I don't have a papyrus voice filter, unfortunately.
Mm.
The cackle that comes forth is all at once terrifying and familiar. At that moment, I'm released. My vocal cords start working at the same time, and I let out a scream as I fall backwards.
Oh goodness.
I land on the wooden floor with a thud that shakes the pots and pans on the shelves. The room spins, and I feel like I'm coming right out of a dream, like I'd been sleeping for ages. The next thing I know, I'm surrounded by the three faces of my friends, all looking down at me. Carl grabs me under the arms and pulls me into a sitting position. Lowered face, but there's something else too. Anger? What happened? I'm startled by his abruptness, and I stammer through an answer. It was a face out the window. What did it say?
Carl, what are you doing?
Rinri approaches the room gently, his ears falling. Carl glances at the husky, and then Jenna, who's been silent so far, then back at me, slowly letting go. Sorry, I was just worried about you. What did it say? Did it say anything? Takes me a moment to find my voice. No. Didn't say anything. Just laughed. What did it look like? A fox, maybe? Had a band over his head? Carl's eyes narrow.
Hey, I found something.
I'll look at Raven as he holds up a white piece of paper. What is that? Carl stands up, staring hard at the paper in Raven's hand.
I don't know. It looked like a photocopy of a newspaper. Let's see.
Raven turns around the candles sitting on the desk. Jenna stands behind him.
Meseta boy missing after. Whoa!
Oh,
No.
Raven pushes back as the paper catches
No, not
fire,
again.
illuminating the entire cabin room. Our shadows dance across the log walls. The paper which Raven had dropped flutters to the floor, a tongue of angry flame eating it up completely before it hits the floor. We all stare at the smoldering flake of ash on the ground. Raven, are you kidding me?
What? I wasn't even that close to the candle.
That might have been what we needed.
But I.
Raven stares at his hands, looking forlornly between them and the candle, which seems to flicker innocently on the table. I rest my face in my hands. Well, what do we do now?
He wasn't near the candle.
Pull my head out of my hands, not because of what Jenna said, but because of the way she said it.
Huh? I've got a side angle here. You were at least 2 feet away.
There's a brief silence. Jenna, what are you talking about?
I don't know, Carl. What am I talking about?
Jenna turns to the ram, eyes narrowed, teeth just slightly bared. I look at Carl. He's frowning, a concerned look on his face. Jenna, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying there's no way that candle burned that paper.
Carl's concerned expression deepens, but there's also a hint of condescension there. What else could have done it, Jenna? This time the silence is heavy. I'm baffled by the interactions they've been having so far, and by the look on Raven's face, so is he.
Hey, guys, I'm sorry I burned it. But maybe we can figure something out from the title. Meseta boy missing?
Look at Jenna. Oh yeah, Meseta, isn't that your tribe, or? Yep. Oh boy. Then my face flushes. I wonder if I'm being insensitive. Like, I think she knows everyone from the tribe. Oh, but does that mean a lot of people go missing out here?
Well, it should have done something to do with James, right?
It would have had, yeah. How do we know that? I look at Carl. Are you okay, man? You've been acting really weird ever since we got here. I think we're all acting a little different after getting here, don't you think? Carl glances at Jenna.
Are we fighting again?
Staring at the ash on the ground, something I should have realized earlier suddenly hits me. Wait a minute. That newspaper. It kind of looked like something that came out of the crawl space tubs.
What do you mean?
I was looking through some artifacts that Carl's family saved from way back when for that project I was doing. Seems like years ago at this point. I snapped my fingers. and there was stuff, and the stuff was missing from it, like pages ripped out from Carl's mom's notes that had been photocopies of old newspapers.
So, so was that just a clipping from the notes?
Maybe? I don't know, but John was native, so maybe it has to do with him. I think back to the small fox I saw through the window, band across his forehead. Is that John?
So, the ghost you just ripped out the pages to show you in this nightmare world, why didn't he just point them out to you in the real world?
I don't really have an answer for that.
Then we wouldn't have to be going through this shit right now.
Are you really questioning the logic of supernatural ghosties right now, Jenna?
Ghost rules?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit!
Raven.
I accidentally hit the backlog.
Raven knows what's up.
I know. Well, remember, I think the safest thing to do in this scenario was to just stop questioning everything.
Yeah.
But Jenna, I don't know. Jenna's been stubborn this route. But I got a follower. Why, thank you for joining us. I'm Gordon. This is the Spider Pop Arcade. I'm here with my friends Blanc and Magpie, and we're playing Echo because Blanc recommended I play it, and I figured, let's turn it into a stream. It'll be fun. Magpie is here because I thought it'd be fun to include him.
Yeah.
And if you go to my YouTube channel, you could watch us playing through Leo's route, which, oh boy, that was a fucking journey. This one is a nice change of pace, though. And also, Carl has become my favorite character. Let's see, Raven shrugs.
And what if it was our key out of here? Well, they can't just leave us here, right?
We don't know anything about where we are or what those things are capable of.
So what now? Just sit around and wait for something else to happen?
Carl suddenly sighs. Well, I'm gonna look around some more. You guys do whatever you want. Again, I'm taken aback by Carl's demeanor. Never seen him act like this before. It's like he's a different person.
Maybe he is a different person. Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
shit. Without another word, he turns his hoof and walks away.
Oh, slow fade.
So we're back here. For the next several hours, we search the cabin from top to bottom. I hobble around the floor, careful not to look out the window, even when the drumming starts up again at a few points. I check all the shelves under the chairs and tables in the stove, the pantry, between the cracks on the floors and walls. We don't find anything. At some point, I almost topple over from dozing off. And that's when we call off the search. There's some discussion as to where we should sleep, if we should do it in shifts. Jenna suggests she stays up downstairs while the rest of us sleep, just in case something happens. Carl suggests that I sleep in the bed upstairs because of my leg, and I have to agree with him. Evan stays downstairs with Jenna, making himself comfortable in one of those chairs. As Carl hobbles up the stairs with me on his back, Jenna watches us the whole way. Sit on the bed watching as Carl moves about his room, looking behind shelves and under the bed. Carl, I hate to ask again, but are you okay? Looks back at me. Yeah, I'm fine. I just want to make sure everything is safe for you. Thanks. It's just you seem different, I guess. Carl looks at the ceiling, seemingly thinking. It's able to make him out in the darkness. Just like when he had the sheet over his head, I get the weird feeling that who I'm looking at might not be Carl. I think it's just that this has made me grow up. I realize now how useless I've been. This is sort of an opportunity for me to actually do something. Help people, Yeah. Sounds nice, but I can't get rid of the nagging feeling that something is off. It's in the way he talks, the way he moves, right down to his facial expressions. I swing my legs gingerly into the bed and lay back. Carl comes over to sit on the other side. Wanna sleep here too? Yeah, you need me to get around, so I'm gonna be at your side as much as possible. Alright, thanks. As we lay awkwardly on our backs for a moment, Carl suddenly turns to his side and pulls me into his chest. I'm surprised and turn instinctively so that he's spooning me. I guess it makes sense after our semi-confession back in the mansion. Nuzzles his neck, but again, he nuzzles my neck, but again, this action is weirdly unnatural. with his big warm body next to mine, it takes me a long time to fall asleep. I open my eyes and literally I can make out the dark cabin room. My heart sinks again at realizing where I'm at, but it's more subdued this time. I guess I'm getting used to my new life. My mouth is dry, very dry, and I feel like I need to find water or I'm not going to back to sleep. I sit up. Charles moved back to his side of the bed at this point, laying out on his back, snoring. Quietly, I get out of bed, wincing at how creaky the floorboards are. I make my way down the stairs, eyes adjusted to the point where I can barely make out the ledges. When I when I reach the ground level, I see that Raven is splayed out on the carpet snoring as well. I shake my head before moving to the kitchen. Jenna isn't there, and I wonder where she might be at. Was she in that other room upstairs? Maybe I just missed her when I was distracted by Raven. Looking around, I see a small cup sitting at the table. I'm almost positive it hasn't been there before, but maybe Raven or Jenna had set it there. Walking over, I'm relieved to see that it's filled with what looks like water.
Oh, not this again.
I have an idea. Or yeah, so or I have thoughts.
It
But
tastes
this-
like chalk
It's
somehow.
this whole thing is Hendrix is doing. Wants us to clear his name. I wonder if he's only meeting Chase's demands right now, because when he looks at Chase, he sees maybe that previous lover. It's John, right?
John
Yeah,
be
John.
gay.
Huh.
And he do be gay.
Word.
But I'm just like, it seems like this world only seems to respond to, like, if it wants to give anyone something, it's only giving stuff to Chase. Pick it up and sniff it, not really getting a hint of anything. Tentatively, I take a sip, and I'm immediately spit it out. It's salty, putrid, and tastes like. I jump, and some of the liquid splashes on the floor. Gingerly, I set down the cup before looking into the opposite room.
What did it taste like? Sorry.
He didn't say.
Oh.
I don't want to say
Salty
pee, but I'm thinking it was pee.
Maybe.
Or maybe it just tasted like it. I mean the fucking sandwiches tasted like chalk, so everything is still in the other room. I can't even hear Raven snoring anymore. This time I see the wardrobe move, the door specifically. I stare wide-eyed. Everything falls still again, but I don't dare move. Jenna? I whisper loudly. It wouldn't make any sense why she'd be in there, but who else would it be? Ghost, of course. I'm about to take a step forward towards the stairs, maybe, or to at least wake Raven up, but that's when the small door cracks open. I freeze, all the fur on my body standing up. James? The words down my tongue as something long and black slides out from behind the door. It dips down towards the ground, and only then does it vaguely take shape of a foot. Another long black tendril follows, slightly ahead of the first one. When it touches the ground, it takes the shape of a hand resting flat on the wooden floor. I choke and start to try and back away, but then the door explodes open, and I'm just barely able to make out galloping black shape before it engulfs me. I collapse back into the ground, twisting, trying to scream, but the thing is completely covering and smothering me. I choke and gag, feeling like I'm being suffocated. My arms pinned to my sides, my legs rigid. As I try to yank away from the things, it feels like something is freed from my mouth and I'm able to scream. Help! Get it off me! Help! Chase! The surface underneath me becomes soft. The thing on top of me warm. With bleary eyes, I look up. Carl, just able to make out the curve of his horns. Carl? I hear movement at the doorway and I glance in that direction to find Jenna standing there, hackles raised, teeth bared. Jenna? Before I know what exactly is going on, Jenna sprints across the room and jumps into the bed. Carl doesn't even have time to turn before she scratches him up by the horns and yanks his head back violently. Grandma started choking somebody's dragged back down to the floor. Jenna jumps off the bed after him. From the sounds of it, she lands on him, what follows a series of thuds and smacks. I don't think slamming his head on the floor is gonna do anything, though. He's proven multiple times that his head is incredibly strong.
Yeah.
Weakly, I pull myself to the front of the bed, still completely disoriented.
I knew it, you motherfucking piece of shit!
Jeez.
What I see is Jenna sitting back and Carl's back, swinging her fist into his head while the ram tries to cover up. I don't think that's gonna do much, but go off, I guess.
You haven't changed at all!
Jenna, stop! I roll off the bed, confused as to why I'm so weak. Pain shoots up my leg again, but this time I barely notice it. There's something about Jenna, something big and black, like a shadow, making her look much bigger than she actually is. Her fist swing and hit Carl with a force I didn't think she was capable of. Then she grabs Carl by the horns again and yanks back before slamming his face back into the floor. Jenna! I lunge forward, trying to put myself between the two of them. Underneath me, Carl has gone limp. Just like Jenna, there's something black and shadowy around him as well, but it's fading, moving away. Jenna's still trying to get at Carl, reaching around me and snarling in my ear, a sound that makes my fur stand on end. She's gone. When I look to my left and see Jenna being drawn back by Raven, his eyes wide with shock.
What are you doing?
Jenna struggles in the husky's grasp.
I saw him! He was trying to fuck the otter!
What?
What?
Otter?
So the dream sequence you just had, the thing that was getting on top of you, that was Carl.
Oh.
He was trying to kill you.
I thought he just rolled over on me in his sleep because he a big man. That's honestly where I was going with that.
I did wonder if there was a dream, because he did seem to wake up too easily there, so it's like, what happened to the dream sequence?
I'm like,
and then it went on too long.
And then when
for
he
me
saw
to
Carl,
realize.
I was like, oh, did he roll on me? Jenna, stop, he was helping me. I continues to try to pull Jenna towards the door, but she continues to struggle. I was having a nightmare. Jenna's struggling, losing some of its vigor, but she continues to snarl in Carl's direction. Raven, please get her out of here. The shadow around Jenna seems to shrink, and her face shows some doubt as she stares at the crumbled form of Carl. For a moment, she seems to let the husky lead her to the room, and I hear soothing tones from Raven as he leads her down the stairs. Then back to Carl, whose arm is around his head, face still buried in the ground. After a while, I see his shoulders heaving with sobs. Gently, I pull one of his arms back, and he looks up at me. This time, I recognize his face. So this time, it's him. Next to Carl on the bed, mopping up his face with his bloodied button-up shirt. He sits there silently looking at his hands for a while I work. Guess nothing's broken. Is this making you feel anything, Sandy?
No. If his nose was actually bloody, then that might have done something.
Oh, okay.
But
Dude, what happened? I'm not sure if he's talking about what happened with Jenna or just everything. I've been asking the same question since we got here. He looks at his hands again. I felt different. Let's see, so in this previous sequence, you could tell it's a dream because Chase was suddenly walking despite his foot. I was just kind of under the assumption that he was just like, that it wouldn't go into the detail that he was like leaning on stuff on his way to the cup around the house. That's a good clue though. All right, let's see here. I sit back and look him over, satisfied with having cleaned up most of his face. The fact they called me dude is like a huge relief, because no, that's Carl right now.
Yeah, I think James and Hendrix are the same.
Is yeah.
John and Hendrix.
Oh,
taking
so
over each other.
So yeah, but they're supposed to be in love. What?
Well, maybe something went. Maybe
something went down.
Hendrix did leave him to die, and
maybe
John is angry. Dunno.
You were acting different too. Like, I felt like I knew everything. I knew what I was doing. You were acting really confident. I agree and set his bloody shirt off the side. When I look back at him, he seems so sad and beaten down that I have to hug him. Dude, they're gonna make me start crying again. Voice cracks, but he hugs back anyway. I'm just glad you're back. I felt like I was talking to a stranger. Carl leans back at me and sighs. I don't know if I'm glad though. It's like I just came down from a huge high. I have a shoulder for a while before I venture forward with my guess. Was it James? I don't know. Maybe? Carl looks at his hands again like he's questioning if they're even his. I always felt like I knew what I wanted, and when things didn't go the way I thought they would, I'd get really pissed. He's silent for a while. I imagine contemplating what he had just gone through. And isn't really acting like herself either. Carl looks up at that. Yeah, I felt like whatever was in me, whatever it is, really hates what Jenna is doing for some reason. Carl looks around the room, scanning with his dark green eyes. I feel like all of this is some kind of mental fight between James and whatever else is fighting against him. He looks back down at his hands. That's why we have to do all this. Falls back into silence, and I don't ask any more questions, wanting to let him rest a bit. There is one nagging thought that comes to my mind, though. This is kind of stupid, but what happened back in the mansion? You know, that thing between us? He looks up at me, and I feel my face flush looking away. I guess I'm wondering if any of that was real. I mean, if it was really you feeling that way. Carl doesn't say anything, so I'm forced to look up at him, and when I do, he has sort of a sad sort of smile on his face. Dude, I think that was the only part of me that was real. Aww. Oh, don't do this to me now. Despite,
Emotional damage.
despite where we are, despite everything that's happening, that somehow makes me incredibly happy. Happy enough to lean forward and kiss him. Oh my god. He kisses back, and while it barely more than a peck, it has my entire body feeling warm. He puts his own arm around me after I pull back and I rest my head on his shoulder. I feel like it's going to try to come back though. I look at him. What, James? Whatever it is, I can already feel it. Like it's on the edge of my mind. You think you can fight it? Carl sighs and looks at me. Should I?
All right.
What do you mean?
Oh,
I mean, it made me feel amazing.
Don't
Like,
tease.
I could do anything. Maybe we need that. I frown. I don't know. Not only that, but it felt like I knew what to do. It might save us. He stares back into my eyes. I know it's not really me, but it'll probably only be for the time that we're here. I look away thinking, then I'll be back to my old self. He squeezes my shoulder. But it's important to me what you think. We're in this together.
all right. Discussion time. This is a very important decision you have to make.
Okay. I like Carl.
You like Carl.
So I want him to fight it. I want him, because if whatever it is, you know, trying to move in on this, it's just like, it's gonna be Carl or nothing at all.
Yes. Good.
Fight it. No. Whatever it is that made Carl feel good, I can't shake the bad feeling it gives me. I mean, oh god. Because I think about that scene from the dining room, and it's just so like, that wasn't Carl though. I can't enjoy this. I rest my hand on his. No, after everything that's happened, I don't trust whatever it is. Carl watches me closely. Seriously, we need to be more careful. Besides, in my head against his shoulder again, we are in this together. We don't need that thing meddling with us to get through it. I feel some of the tension go out of Carl's muscles as we wrap each other in more tightly in our respective embraces. I sit here for a while, Carl absorbing what I just said. It's clear that whatever is influencing Carl and Jenna is powerful, and we had to be careful. Whatever he decides, I just pray it's the right decision. It's the first time I've heard that song, and I was actually relieved to hear it.
I tell you,
There's
different
so
meanings.
many fake outs in Leo's story, and it's just like, no, turn the fucking music off. We need to talk about what we just saw. This isn't right. I wake up groggily, my head throbbing a bit from laying it on the stiff pillow. I hate that feeling. Like last time I woke up, it takes me a while to realize where I am. And just like the last time, I get a sinking feeling in my stomach when I realize where that is. On my side, staring at the wall in front of me, watching shadows dance along the log bumps. It's depressing though, not as much as the last time. At some point, I guess I realized that there wasn't much I could do. Just go with it and hope something comes of it. At least there seemed to be a goal in the mind of whatever had control of this, whatever it was. Suddenly I feel an arm slip over my hip and I stiffen. I want to scare the hell out of me too. Carl breathes into the back of my neck. Excuse me? You okay? I feel the
Well,
soft
he's
warmth of
spooning
Carl's...
you right now.
Yeah. I feel the soft warmth of Carl's body pressed up against my back. It's been a long time since I felt someone spoon me. Thinking about Leo, though, only makes my stomach knot up even more. Yeah. Carl picks up on it right away. His broad muzzle sneaks over my neck, and soon he's pressing his cheek against mine. I feel him hesitating as he does it. His movement's kind of jerky and awkward.
It's
This is Carl!
This is
It's
Carl.
yes. No, this is him. This is him sober, too. I almost laugh, but I have to remind myself that Carl probably hasn't done this before, at least not since high school. Definitely not with a guy, at least. My hands... Oh, okay, what's happening here? Do we have to put up the BRB screen again? Alright, I'm gonna be safe. No, it's fine?
No, it's fine.
Okay, fine. Oh wait, no, wrong screen. There we go. We had to do this for Leo and Chase's scene. And it was I rewatched
the foreplay scene.
Yeah, the foreplay scene. I rewatched that scene on the channel and it was pretty fucking funny. And it's like, okay, he doesn't go lower though. He keeps it pressed against my body. It feels nice having someone close to me like this. Even though I've given up on trying to understand the situation, I'm still scared about what's happening. I feel Carl's heart beating hard against my back. I wonder if he's thinking about the same things. When I feel, oh goodness.
Well,
I almost laugh again. Here I am in a haunted house cabin with my childhood friend is grinding up on me. Okay, it is genuine how awkward it is. He's testing the waters, but at the same time, it's just like maybe no, it's not the greatest time. Carl does me tense up and lifts his hand away from my stomach. Sorry, is this not? I roll over abruptly to face him. His green eyes immediately look away from mine, and as I see red creeping underneath the thin fur of his ear, I decide to go with the same technique I used last night. And are you sure? Okay, we just kiss. Seems to break the ice, and he immediately responds by pissing his oh my.
They're kissing, and they're both
Carl's
boys.
surprisingly good.
what a novel idea.
Oh god. I don't know if this is what my cousin felt when she discovered Yowie
Wow,
for the
this
first time.
next line.
It was surprisingly good tongue kisser, better than Leo was anyway.
Oh, nerd.
Oh, I wish I had the vibe
let
sound
Leo
effects for that
know.
right now.
Oh my god, you know what this reminds me of?
What?
Like, okay, you've seen the Fairly Odd Parents shit, right?
Yeah.
It's when the snobby rich chick rips the picture of her ex-best friend. It's just that, but with fucking Chase, Leo, and Carl.
God, I would follow. Oh god, I would personally want to reach all that actually.
I love that.
No, but he wouldn't rip the picture. He'd look at his phone and delete a picture of Leo. And then Leo just has a stroke somewhere.
God.
Falls over.
Glides over my tongue before flicking against my teeth. I'm momentarily worried about how I haven't brushed at least for 2 days, but Carl doesn't seem to mind.
You haven't eaten in 2 days either, so
Yeah, he hasn't either. After all, wraps his hands around my back, sliding one under my body so that I can wrap me in a full embrace. The feeling of being enveloped in Carl's soft and strong warmth makes my heart skip a beat. And pretty soon, I'm just oh goodness. Oh wow. Are you sure, Matt? I mean, okay, we are getting romance novel spicy here, but like this is paperback romance novel.
Yeah, it's written not really.
Yeah.
It doesn't go too far, I assure you.
All tenses and giggles. Damn my demisexual ass friend finding, what is it, endearing physical intimacy and hot. All senses and giggles. Oh, fuck that. Oh, okay. I pose and smirk at him. I really touched you. Give his stomach a light prod and he curls up a bit. Oh no, he's ticklish.
Oh no, your weakness.
I know. Now, I don't have a tickle kink. I'm just incredibly ticklish. To the point where I have friends that use it in like moments of blackmail. Or like,
Yes,
or just to
I've heard
fuck
these
with
stories.
me.
I just threaten you at work with it.
Amazing.
Let's hope it never comes to that.
Mhm.
Dude, I think I'm just not used to being touched. Like, I apply. Okay, now
Oh,
he's just kind of
jeez.
tickling him. I apply both hands at the same time, running them like spiders up his stomach and chest. Dude, no! He twists and rises under my
Someone's
hand,
gonna show up.
desperately trying to stifle his giggles before finally snatching my hands by the wrist. Mind how strong he is when he easily. I want to see I want to see Carl headbutt Leo. That's what I'm getting out of this
Instant
scene.
knockout.
I'm reminded how strong he is when he easily rolls me to my back, straddling my hips as he pins my hands above my head. You asshole. I was breathing heavily, letting out a little giggle every now and then. So I've just never seen someone get so. I pause and hear movement from downstairs, followed by what sounds like Raven's voice. I'm reminded of our situation when I see some flakes of blood around Carl's nose and big splotches on his shirt. Guess we're being a little loud. Yeah, how's your nose? Paul automatically raises his hand and touches his nose. Meh, it hurts a little bit, but I'm okay. That's good. I lay there in silence for a few seconds. Okay, this was incredibly endearing because he's sober. That was all just sober Carl.
Mhm.
I feel like the moment is kind of ruined. I look around. It's a good thing that it's ruined. We need to stay focused here, boys.
Yeah, we're kind of in a very bad
Plus, we're in a
situation.
horror movie situation. If this gotten further, you would be the first to die.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Looking again at
Still
the
enjoyed it
walls.
though.
Yeah, I look again at the walls, remembering that we should be looking for something instead of messing around like this. What you looking at? Not sure. Hey, should we be finding something, right? Hmm? My crutch is starting to get a little uncomfortable on the weight of Carl's body. I mean, didn't that ghost ancestor, whatever it was, tell you needed to find stuff? Carl rubs his nose. Yeah, in the last place we were in, at least. I guess it would be the same in this place, right? Unless it was unless it was what we already burned up. Yeah. Carl sits there quietly thinking. Oh, I think I might actually try to look downstairs. You want to stay up here and look around? Yeah. I want to get to the other two and start looking too. The threat of Jenna hangs heavy in the air, and the way we're both obviously avoiding it makes it all the heavier. What about your ankle? It flex it around. A twinge? The twinge is a lot less sharp now, though the stiffness feels even worse. I think I'm okay. Let me try it out. Okay. Bell sits there for a while longer, then seems to suddenly realize that he needs to get off so I can get up. He scrambles off awkwardly, but as I sit up and swing my legs over oh, hold on. He scrambles off awkwardly, and I sit up and swing my legs over the side of the bed. Pressing my foot to the floor, I twinge that runs through my ankle is minuscule. Standing up, I'm probably about to put pressure on it before it hurts too much. The problem is I can't bend the joint at all, leaving me with an obvious lumbering limp. I think I'm okay, and I can get you down the stairs at least. I'm. I warmed to the concern in Carl's voice, though I don't really want him and Jen anywhere near each other, especially after what she might have heard just now. Nah, I want to test it out for a bit more. I turn my head to look back at Carl and still see a worried look on his face. I'll call you if I need help, okay? Carl purses his lips. All right. That was really sweet.
Mhm.
The trip down the stairs is ponderous and awkward. I'm probably loud too because when I reach the bottom, I find both Raven and Jenna already staring at me. Hey, hey.
Hey,
Jenna doesn't say anything, continuing to watch me. We stare at each other awkwardly for a bit before she finally moves her head back down at my leg.
how's your leg?
Oh, it's all right. A bit stiff though. I grasped at the opportunity to talk about anything other than what we were obviously avoiding. I think I should be able to walk normally, maybe in a few days.
Hopefully in a few days we'll be out of here so you can do that.
Yeah, it's definitely not herself right now. Her eyes are vacant and dull, and it's hard to explain. They lack the mischievous and compassionate look that I'm used to seeing. Voice is weird too. It's deeper, more husky.
We'll be out of here by then.
And says it with a grin as he leans back in the chair he's sitting in. Actually, I wanted to talk to you guys about that.
About what?
About how to get out of here.
And how do we do that?
Well, I was thinking that the last time we were able to unlock the door, all we had to do was find that letter. David looks at me.
So we find a letter?
Or something like that. We just need to find something, I think.
We did find something.
Look over at Jenna. Huh?
I said we did find something. Carl burned it.
Oh, well, I don't think Carl burned it.
He did.
Well, this is completely different because Jenna said it was nowhere near the candle last time.
Yeah.
Mm.
But there's got to be something else. Or maybe whatever's doing this has a way of putting something else here. The others don't say anything. I don't know, but I can't just sit here looking around at oh, hold on. We can't just sit here. Looking around is the least we can do.
Where's Carl?
And is standing up now, looking up at the ceiling. Faintly, I can hear the clapping of hooves on the softwood. He's looking around upstairs. She has to look up the ceiling, her face stony.
Let's start in this room.
Oh my god, he's so chipper.
I know. Raven stands up and starts walking along the wall, looking up and down the logs, prodding at the spaces between. Jenna's still looking up at the ceiling, and I worry that she's going to try to go upstairs. Hey, Jenna, can you help me look around the kitchen? Looks back at me.
Huh?
My ankle still kind of hurts, and it'd be nice to be able to lean on someone if I need to walk far, like to the kitchen. Pause before moving over to my side. She stands there stoically, and I awkwardly wrap an arm around her shoulders. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
We amble slowly to the kitchen. Jenna stops in the middle of the room and waits. I guess we'll start off in the cabinets. Place goes up at the end like I'm asking a question. Jenna doesn't say anything, so I stumble away from her again awkwardly before finding support on the wooden pantry. Hesitantly, I start opening some cupboards, feeling a lot less into my idea than I was just a few minutes earlier. Jenna stares out the window. So, are you okay? She finally looks back at me, frowning.
I'm fine. Why?
You're being really distant?
Do you need me to stand next to you?
No, I mean, you seem like you're not really here mentally.
I'm sorry.
Another pantry door to a set of glass mugs. This is something to do with Carl? I knew that Jenna was going through something similar with what Carl is. Just have no idea what it's doing or why. Something that wants this to go as unsmoothly as possible, clearly.
I don't have a problem with Carl.
I mean, what you did yesterday.
I just have a problem with the way he acts. He could do a lot if he puts his mind to it.
Takes me a moment to realize that she's talking about what happened before all of this. So you attacked him.
What? No, that was something else.
I turn around and finally see something familiar about Jenna. Some life in her eyes. Maybe all we have to do is talk about the stuff before this whole warp. Wait, what? Maybe all we have to do is talk about stuff before this whole warp to Ghost Dimension. I mean, he tries. He just has problems. Shouldn't a psychology major know that? Jenna looks away from me.
I guess, but I'm not a therapist.
So what? So what?
So I don't know.
No, I mean, shouldn't anyone have sympathy?
I'd have a little more sympathy if he'd actually try and get help.
He has, but it's not that easy. Again, I don't feel like I should be explaining this to someone who has 4 years of psychology under her belt. I tried to get help, but I didn't feel better for years. The interesting thing about therapy is the purpose of therapy is to give you the tools needed to cope and function with whatever it is you're going through. Sometimes it could take a while before that happens. Not necessarily, before you start using them, but before you start connecting the lines that like, oh, okay, maybe I should start doing this.
Mm.
Let's see, Jenna doesn't say anything. Oh, also I saw a message from 60K is enough. He says that speaking of, I don't think you went back for Leo's other ending. I think it's worthwhile to check out at some point. I looked that up on YouTube, which I'm glad I did because boy howdy, that ending was a lot. And it's
The
just like,
darkest timeline.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? I think I'm glad I didn't experience that on stream. Because that was not a good time for anyone.
No.
Okay. Carl's problems didn't really start until his first year of college. I keep pulling open cupboards. My heart's sinking a little more each time there's nothing inside. Check the cups. Unless they're all glass. I mean, yeah, we had problems before, but it's only getting worse for him.
Well, it doesn't matter what I think about Carl right now. We're trying to find a way out of here, and screwing around isn't going to help.
Dennis says it in such a way that I feel like it was supposed to be pointed. There's little doubt now that she heard us messing around upstairs. I sigh and reach up to pull open the last cabinet.
He's not who you think he is.
Well, I mean, earlier he wasn't. So quiet and deep. I'm not sure what it's. I'm not sure that it's. Wait, what? So quiet
Jenna,
and deep.
that's
I'm not sure that it's what what it's Jenna that said it. Oh, I'm not sure if it's Jenna that said it.
Mhm.
I turn around, but she's already on the other side of the room, standing next to the opposite set of the pantries. Did you say something? She doesn't respond. I stare at her for another few seconds before slowly turning back around. The fur on the back of my neck prickles at the idea of turning my back on her. Why did these damn ghosts have to be so subtle and cryptic? If that's what it is, of course. Seemed like James had no trouble telling Carl about the whole clue finding crap. Why couldn't they just tell him or even Jenna right now instead of just creeping me out? Kitchen isn't very big, so run out of things to search pretty quickly. I skipped the area around the window though, not having forgotten what happened yesterday. Yesterday? I don't know how to keep track of time in this place. I look back over at Jenna, who's still in the same place staring at the pantry. The thought that maybe I myself could be possessed momentarily passes through my mind. For some reason, I doubt it, even though I'm not sure why. Were we only possessed? Well, we're not really possessed. We were just talking to Sam during Leo's route.
Mm.
I don't really feel like I'm of interest to whatever it is that's doing this, at least not directly. So continue to stare. I see something past Jenna at the base of the stairs. A ram's horn curling out from around the corner to the entrance of the stairs. I stare for a moment. Hey, I'm gonna go upstairs. Then his head stumps back sharply to stare at me, and I swear I heard her neck crack. Just to see if he found anything, I'll be back. I awkwardly saddle my way from the kitchen towards the stairs, Jenna's gaze following me the entire way. Once I reach the base of the stairs, I find Carl standing there. He jumps when I come around the corner and stands straight up, one hand resting on the wall. His eyes are red and the short of his face is all mussed up. Carl, are you okay? I whispered it, but Carl immediately turns around and stares back up the stairs quietly. Follow him, wondering what it could be. Did he find something horrific? Wouldn't be surprised at all if that were the case. Once he reached the top of the stairs, Carl heads straight for the bedroom. Carl, what happened? Did he find something? That moment he turns and hugs me. Oh no, it's the fucking song. It's the other one.
What now?
It's so enveloping and firm that the air is almost crushed out of me. I grunt and freeze for a moment, listening to Carl huff into my chest. He's holding me like something precious, like if he lets go, it could be swept away somehow. I'm quiet for a few seconds, letting Carl get whatever this is out of his system. Arms are pinned down to my sides anyway, so it's not like I can respond physically. Hey, are you okay? It was a dumb question because none of us are okay. Carl finally lets go. He turns away from me right away to sit on the bed and put his face in his hands. My shirt is damp and I walk down to see 2 wet spots where his eyes had been. Tentatively, I sit down next to him at the foot of the bed and put my hand on his back. Hey, what happened? Carl sips loudly, wiping his eyes before putting his face back down in his hands. The ram sighs before finally straightening up. To lean back into his hands, looking away from me. I just feel like shit is all. Can I help? I just had a moment, couldn't breathe. I keep rubbing his back, knowing that there really isn't anything I can do. Panic attack? How come? A lot of things. Carl shivers under my touch, and I feel like everyone's mad at me. Why? No one's mad at you. Well, Jenna, first of all, but I feel like everyone thinks this is my fault or something. What? Why would any of this be your fault? He was probably right about Jenna, though. It's my house, my great whatever is. It's all just my shit. He sniffs. I don't know, just being alone gets me thinking about this stuff, about how I'm still fucking everything up. Dude, Jenna told us fucked up things are happening everywhere, not just in your house. Look around. I look around. I'm assuming we're still in, maybe? I look back down at Carl. What brought all this up? We're all just working together to get ourselves out of here. Carl wipes his face and sniffles noisily before sitting up straight. I wasn't finding anything, and I started thinking about what would happen if we never do find anything. It's not gonna happen. These things are doing this. These things that are doing this are trying to tell us something, right? I don't know about that, man. They seem just confused and angry as we are. Girl looks at me with his red eyes. It's like they're fighting too. Yeah, I guess they're having some issues. Carl reaches out and I let him pull me into his side. I don't resist and Carl chuckles. It's creepy being up here alone. Fit against him almost perfectly and lay my head against his shoulder. Sorry. What? Yeah. I feel like I should be the strong one. Huh? And you've already seen me cry like twice. Hey, I don't believe in the strong one type of crap. I rest a hand on Carl's thigh, squeezing it. You're strong for the other. You're strong for the other person when they need it, and both people will need it eventually. Carl shifts against me and laughs nervously. You're talking about us like we're a thing. Are we a thing? Look what we were doing right now. It's hard to say when you're stuck in a haunted cabin. Dylan presses his nose to my head, inhaling. This person's doing weird things to me. Uses that again. Yeah, we can talk about it when we actually get out of here. When this stuff isn't fucking with our heads. So we are a thing, but just in the ghost dimension. Sure, for now. I'm fine with that for now. He breathes in deeply. You smell good. I snort. What do I smell like? Like the ocean? Dude, I'm just a river otter. Besides, the river and the ocean smell bad. Carl nibbles into the side of my neck and oh wow, okay. Trying to pull away from him. He pulls me back easily with his superior strength before pushing me back onto the bed, teasing at my neck with his warm nose.
Oh god.
Carl, stop. I hiss at him, trying to not burst out laughing. He mumbles against my neck. Hey, I'm just getting you back for earlier. He'll helplessly behind a closed mouth, trying to keep quiet. I can't deny I like this, but Jenna's criticism just minutes earlier has me feeling hesitant. Start to move lower, but at that moment I hear a metal clang echo up the stairs. Both paws and Carl's large ears are perked under his beanie. I prop myself up on my elbows and look towards the doorway. I guess we should get back to searching. Yeah. But the moment clearly over, Carl sits back up on the side of the bed while I straighten out my shirt.
You found something?
Vin's voice drips faintly up the stairs. Carl and I look at each other. Hey, maybe we won't need to. Gonna go check? Yeah, wait here for a second. Nothing, I'll come back and help you look around, alright? Okay. I'll scoots to the side so I can get off of the bed. It takes me a few minutes to get down the stairs on my stiff ankle. Once I get to the kitchen, I'm confronted with an odd scene. Jenna's halfway into the wood burning stove, reaching into the back, probably up into the metal tube. Oh, maybe the flyer was a clue? Maybe it burned the thing because it's like, oh, where would you usually burn fire in this house?
Mm.
What are you?
Somebody threw a lighter in the fire, kind of a deal.
Yeah. What are you doing? You found
She
something.
found something.
They've been standing off to the side of the stove, bouncing on the balls of his feet.
It's stuck.
Jenna grunts as she adjusts herself, reaching in from a different angle. What is it? Slowly across the room towards them.
You need help?
I realize he's talking to me, but I shake my head and at the husky as I watch Jenna pull back and look into the opening for the stove.
Goddamn thing shouldn't be that hard to get.
Maybe I can help. But Jenna's already plunging her head back in. Back in, head sticking just out of the opening as she does. It seems to garner some success as she smirks.
Ha! Got it.
And her whole body jerks as soon as it yanks into the opening. Raven yelps as Jenna grabs onto the side of the stove to keep from getting pulled in.
Oh my gosh.
Jenna? My voice rises in panic as I see her get yanked a second time. Raven automatically steps up next to her and grabs her arm. A third yank almost pulls him off his feet. I run over and help and wrap my arms around Jenna's waist for a better grip. Another jolt, and I'm able to feel the power of whatever has a hold on Jenna myself. What's happening? I hear a thudding and rustling in the stove, like something turning over angrily and repeatedly. The image of some kind of caged animal passes through my mind as it sends chills up my spine.
No, you fucking don't.
Perez, it's just, for the way she's being right now, it is always nice to see Jenna get shit done.
Yeah.
She tends to do that. She tends to do that a lot. I look up at
That's
the
a
fox.
bit her, technically.
No. Oh, fuck, you're right. I look up at the fox and notice doesn't look scared at all. Instead, she looks pissed off, her lips drawn back and a snarl teeth bared viciously. She's talking to whatever's in the stove. I feel the muscles in her body tense up and writhing under my hands as she twists to get free. I look around her body at Raven. His face's contrast is a mask of horror. Raven! His eyes snap to mine. Get a grip around her body. We can't pull. Get a grip around her body and we'll pull at the same time. Briefly lets go of Jenna's arm. To lean down to the other side and wrap his arms around her waist. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, and another yank, and suddenly Jenna's upper half is pulled into the stove. I lose my balance and fall back on my butt, knocking my head against the metal stove. My eyes water and I let go with one hand, desperately rubbing at the back of my head while I loosely keep a grip on Jenna with the other.
Jeez.
Raven's actually sliding into the fireplace himself at this point. I try to get my bearings and pull myself back next to Jenna, but at that point something big and bulky comes barreling into the room. My vision clears. Just in time to see the big ram reach over Jenna's body, practically pushing Raven aside. Once caught against the stove as he wraps his arms. I imagine these things protect him from head injury too. A lot of times.
Oh yeah, definitely.
His horns clang loudly against the stove as he wraps his arms around Jenna's body and pulls back with all his 270 pounds behind it. The fox emerges slowly, both her arms still stuck in the stove, a determined look still on her face. Carl led still for half a second, lunging forward to grab on Jenna's elbows. He yanks back again, letting out a screaming grunt. As her wrists emerge from the stove, I get a glimpse of black tendrils wrapped around them before the tendrils suddenly disappear. Carl and Jenna both launched back, Jenna getting a cushion landing on top of the ram as Carl lets out a loud wheeze. I hobble over to them, kneeling next to Carl as Jenna rolls off of him, eliciting another grunt. He sits up. Carl continues to lay there, his eyes wide. You guys okay? Carl waves a hand at me, rolling over onto his side as he gasps breathlessly. Luna sits next to him, holding her hands up. I can already see some nasty swelling under the fur covering her wrist. I wince. Jen, are you alright? I'm fine.
I'm fine.
She's not looking at her wrist, though. Instead, it's an ash smudge and folded piece of paper in her hands. From the bits that aren't covered, I can see that the paper is yellowed and ancient looking. Not at all like the clearly photocopied newspaper we'd seen earlier. Jenna looks down at it, standing up. I hear a groan next to me and turn back to Carl. Okay, without getting beaten up. Rub his shoulders, look down at him, smiling. Ah, that was kind of heroic. Carl grunts as he sits up. You think so? I'm not gonna lie, I really like it when he does that.
He grabs his horns, which
He
is
grabs
really
his
cute.
horns, but it makes me think of like it's like a schoolgirl twirling their hair.
Long
But-
hair twirl.
Yeah, all that at the last second too. Carl rubs his knees. I don't want to say anything earlier, but it's getting harder and harder to ignore every time I see it. Would have gotten here earlier if I hadn't chipped down the stairs like twice. Yeah, he stares at the stove. What the hell was that? I look too into the yawning black hole and shiver. Oh no, it was black and smoky like what we saw before. Think it'll come out of there here? Raven suddenly steps to lift up the stove door, twisting the handle to lock it. He yelps as he does it, jumping back as soon as the deed is done. I chuckle, then look back at Carl. Over his shoulder, Jenna walks into my field of vision. The paper is open in her hands, and she's. Oh. The paper is open in her hands, and she's holding it over the candle. All at once, I realize what she's trying to do. I choke on whatever I'm about to say next and leap awkwardly onto my injured ankle. Jenna! Luckily, Jenna's only about 5 feet away, and I practically fall into her, pushing her away from the candle. We both fall against the bench under the window. Jenna's hand smacks against my nose, bringing tears to my eyes. I up as she pulls her finger in, raking lines of fire down my nose with her claws. There's a pounding in my ears, and I distantly register that the drums have started up again. She twists out from under me and pulls away from the bench. When the fuck did she get so strong? And I'm gonna keep my grip on her wrist, and she spins, swinging me away from her. I lose my grip and stumble back, stepping wrong on my foot, and then rebending my ankle to the exact same way I did last time. Oh! I yelp again, much louder this time as I crumble to the ground. Carl swears and jumps over me and Jenna. Wait! Try to grab him by the hoof that's passing over me, but I miss miserably. As I sit up, I hear an ungodly bestial snaring, and I look up and see Carl wrestling, kicking and scratching Jenna to the ground. That's fucking it. He pins her there while she rises onto him, trying to scratch at his face. Stop it,
guys.
Raven is standing off at the table, his paws on his head, pulling at his ears.
Oh.
Ugh. I crawl over to the writhing bodies, one eye wincing shut as each moment sends lightning bolts through my leg. I grab at Jenna's hands, forcing them down above her head. Jenna, stop! Jenna suddenly kicks one of her legs up between Carl's legs, and he kneels over. Fuck!
Got kicked in the balls.
Again. I know. He crumbles over the top of Jenna, lying on her legs. I know, lying on her legs. That Flint scene was fucking hilarious, though. Laying on her legs as he tries to pin his thighs together. I look down into Jenna's face. Stop it, what the hell are you doing? Jenna snarls at me, but it's softer this time. Her struggles die down little by little, and after holding my gaze for about 10 seconds, she looks away. I relax my grip, grasping as I try to rearrange my foot so that there's not so much pressure on my ankle.
I don't know.
Flip a piece of paper from her limp fingers as I push away from her, waiting to see if she'll come after me again. She does it and stood laying there with her hands above her head, staring at the ceiling. Raven? Oh, Raven. Raven, still with his fingers twisted around his ears, looks over at me.
Yeah.
take Jenna upstairs, take a nap or something. I think we need to be kept separate for now. Raven hurries to Jenna. Carl rolls off with a groan. Raven's easily able to coax Jenna off the floor. I head upstairs, Jenna looking down at the floor all the while. Get over to Carl, holding my breath as each drag sends another spasm through my leg. He's on his side, hands between his legs as he squints at the wall. Once he notices me, he looks at my ankle. Fuck, are you okay, man? No, I don't think so. I stepped on it wrong again. God damn it, what the fuck is their problem? Okay, you're just gonna have to carry me again. Carl chuckles before letting out another softer groan. What do I say about getting beaten up all the time? Are you okay? No, she kicked me in the fucking balls. I sit quietly for a moment, the pain in my ankle fading into a more cold electric sting rather than molten lava. What the hell is going on? Why would she try to burn it? Carl is quiet for a moment, then he looks up at me again. Yo, you know, right? What? I could be wrong since nothing makes sense here. What? You know, this probably has something to do with James and John. I rub the back of my head again, feeling a bump swelling up already. Did we already figure out what was going on? I mean, with Jenna, you know how James was sort of talking to me? Yeah, like he told you what to find? Yeah, but I think something is talking to Jenna too. John? Maybe. Make you guys fight? Weren't they lovers? Would there be a reason for John wanting this paper not to be read? Carl doesn't say anything, choosing to roll onto his back and lay his hands out to either side of him. I don't have the paper in my hand. Well, should I read this now or wait for the others? Might as well do it now. She might try something again. I'm gonna read it out loud then. Always is in the air indicating that I should go ahead. I scoot back against the wall so that I can stretch my leg out when I start reading. My dearest John, I've been hearing terrible things lately. They say that you've been accusing me of the most egregious. What the fuck is this mute?
Mystery
I'm just gonna keep
time.
reading. Puzzle time, children. Get your thinking caps.
There's a clue to be had.
Oh, okay. I think I need to lower the music a bit. Or maybe I should raise my volume a bit. I do use a condensation mic, but like, is it no condenser mic? That's what it was.
Condensation.
What?
Well,
I
you
gotta-
know, it's the condensation is condensed water vapor. You mean?
I do want the music below the yellow on OBS. While my voice should be at the. It should be at the yellow, but like I have issues controlling the volume of my voice, being from a loud family. So yeah, let me look at OBS settings really quick. I need to know if the correct microphone is being selected. I don't think it should be fine. Okay. Well, it's in the yellow now. Okay. That should be fine. Hopefully it's not too loud. See, I don't want it to go into the red, though. That's the problem. Okay, that should be good. That should be good. Okay. There we go.
So what was the one before that?
Okay.
It was he's talking to John right now.
Yeah. Well, it's a letter to John. They say
they
you've been accusing me of the most egregious monstrosities. I dare not believe them. In fact, I will not until I hear your words for myself. There must be some misunderstanding. Has one of my many political enemies pitted you against me? Are they using the missing native boys as a weapon against my campaign? I would not think that to be below them, but what concerns me most is you. Please visit me at my mansion. We must speak on this. I very much look forward to your company and believe that we can soon set this straight. Yours forever, James. Look up at Carl. He looks back at me. So, what do you think that means? Carl rubs inconspicuously at his crotch. I guess something went wrong between James and John? Well, yeah, but what? It sounds like he tried to frame him or something. There we go. Okay, that should be good now. Well, maybe it was the angle of my microphone. I hate the. I don't like the boom. Well, I like the boom arm I have, but it is a heavy microphone, and even though the weight should have been enough to handle it, sometimes it still moves and gets loose over time. All right. I remember the newspaper clipping that had somehow gone up in flames. Hey, that newspaper article that burned up said something about a Meseta kid that went missing. So native kids were going missing, and John used it to get to James somehow? Maybe. We still don't know if John was doing it anyway. James doesn't seem to know either. I wonder if we'd been better off if Carl had a little bit of James in him right now.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What could possibly go wrong?
At least then we'd have a better idea of what was going on, maybe. Then again, the situation is so volatile with Jenna. I'm kind of glad we don't have another ghost to deal with in Carl. I look at the Ram who's in the middle of pulling his waistband. Out to look at his junk. If James is still influencing Carl somehow, then he really isn't showing it. You okay? Oh, roughly lets go of his waistband, letting it snap back into his waist. Yeah, I'm fine. Are your balls okay? Oh God, they look fine. Still kind of hurt. I think about making a joke about making.
You should totally.
But that doesn't really.
You coward.
Coward.
But that doesn't really feel appropriate right now. I'm more actually worried about Jenna, and not just because she can beat me up. Yeah. Seems that at this point Jenna isn't really Jenna anymore. We talked to her about, I don't know, resisting it. It's worked for me. Look in the direction of the door as a loud click emanates from it. Carl's ears perk and he follows my gaze. We both stare at it for a few seconds. Do you think? Maybe? Slowly, Carl gets to his feet, still a little bow-legged, and hobbles towards the door. Careful. I stay a little apprehensive that something might open it from the other side. Carl doesn't say anything and slowly shuffles towards the door, pausing in front of it for a few seconds. Slowly he reaches out and rests my hand on the handle, then gives it a slight push. It chips open a few inches. Carl looks back at me. I think we should get the others. I'll stand on the door, Carl to my right and Raven to my left. Raven making sure there's maximum distance between Jenna and Carl. The door is still shifted open a few inches, and the vertical black void it reveals a little ominous. So we just go through? I don't know, man. That's what we did the last time, right? Yeah. I feel like the real question is if we really want to go through the door in the first place. Is it just going to lead to another terrible place where terrible things happen? I feel a void similar to the one I'm looking at open up in my chest. The thought of being trapped in a loop, going through door after door that leads to nothing but horror. Already this place is having an effect on Jenna, and it seems to be getting worse with each passing hour. How much longer can she keep it together? Matt?
Oh, sorry. Let's see. What did the letter say?
I tense up. Anything she does now is putting me on edge, like I'm just waiting for her to lash out again. My hand jumps conspicuously to my pocket where the folded letter is. Glance to the right. I glance at my right to Carl, and he's got his eyes on the door. A few things, just more history stuff.
About what?
Decide at that moment that I have to lie. We need to keep Jenna or John calm if we want to get through this. I have a feeling that John wouldn't want to hear about James revealing what I assume are secrets. I didn't read anything about John trying to sabotage James in my research, but maybe that's what James is trying to tell us. So I shook my shoulders, moving my hand away from my pocket. Stuff about the mine, how there wasn't enough of it to sustain the town. I'm worried Jenna might challenge my lie for whatever reason. She doesn't say anything though, and Carl just keeps staring straight ahead. and suddenly claps his hands together, making Carl and I jump.
So, should we open it?
Raven reaches out. Wait! The husky pauses and looks back at me expectantly. His back ear steps forward. Should we do this? I mean, it's probably just going to lead to another place where we have to find another thing.
Yeah.
So maybe we shouldn't keep going? Stumble over my words, trying to piece together my feelings to put into sentences as I go. I just think they're not really on our side, you know? Make an effort not to look at Jenna. So if they're not, why are we doing what they want us to do? As I'm shaking now, making an effort to keep my hand still. That's when I feel something big and warm slide into my right hand, and I glance down and find Carl holding it. He gives me a quick look, and a small smile before returning his attention back to the door.
What else should we do?
Raven's tone isn't accusatory, but it is genuinely curious. I don't have a good answer. Well, maybe we could find a way back somehow. Maybe we're still in Carl's house right now. Carl's house. That place seems like thousands of miles and years away at this point. Maybe we can, like, wake ourselves up somehow. Raven doesn't respond, neither does anyone else. Realize how stupid I must sound. Sorry, I just feel like we're taking things too fast right now. Wait, are we talking to Carl? Carl
No,
gives.
in general.
I know. I'm just making a joke about how things have been escalating between them. Carl gives my hand another squeeze. Hey, dude, we're all a little scared. We can talk about things. Carl looks past me and Raven and Jenna. No rush. I'm actually starting to feel the same way. Feel my cheeks burn at the way I'm holding everyone back because I'm scared. So when I had that guy in my head, I sort of felt like he was taking us somewhere. Carl runs the hand not holding mine up one of his horns, scratching at it. Like at the end point, you know? Even fidgets with one of his ears. Like a
good endpoint?
Yeah, man, I think so. And sound very convincing.
You can stay here if you want, Otter.
Takes me a second to realize she's talking to me. Well, she's in any other items in the room. But yeah, no, that's definitely John now.
Yeah.
Is she really that far gone? I just hope that if we reach the end of this, we can get her back somehow. Oh, Jenna, that's crazy. I coughed to clear my throat. No, I'll go. I just wanted to think about it for a second.
Have you thought about it then?
Yeah. Look at Carl, but he only offers me a shrug and a comforting rub on the shoulder.
Well, if that's all, then let's go.
Jenna steps forward to grab the door handle, and I bite my tongue to keep from saying we should wait again. The door swings open to reveal blackness, just like the last time. Unlike the last time, though, there's a spot of flickering light in the distance. The fire. It's quiet right now, no drum beat, but the darkness is unnatural. It's inky and thick, like it's alive. I get the unnerving feeling that it's even trying to eat the light from the fire. Maybe towards the fire? Yeah. Jenna suddenly steps forward, and just like that, she's swallowed by the darkness. Jenna, wait, she ignores me. Carl gives his shoulders another shrug. Well, if she's being persuaded, I guess she probably knows where she's going. I see her form pass in front of the firelight a few times, and then she's gone. Alright, here we go. But all his nervousness, Raven still sounds cheerful out stepping into oblivion. You ready, dude? I look over at Carl as he's gazing back at me, warmly and encouraging smile on his face. Dude, I'm reaching my limits too. If we have to do another place like this, his ears droop, look almost defeated. Not stalling as quietly as I can. Oh, this feels like Infinity Train. Every fucking caboose on that goddamn machine is just another fucking puzzle.
Do you want to pause here for today?
Oh yeah, no, I want to finish. I want to start it up I want to end it after they've all gone in.
Got you.
He pulls me into his side by my hand and wraps my arm around my shoulder. Stay close, okay? Yeah. We step forward with him, and immediately we're immersed in blackness. Not only do things go dark visually, but the change is physical too. I don't know if it's all in my head, but I feel heavier. Like the darkness is pushing down on my shoulders. It's colder too. The point where I can feel the heat radiating off of Carl's body when I brush up against him. Doing okay, man? Yeah. You? Yeah, I'm good. The going is slow, and not just because of my injured, probably broken ankle. The ground is uneven and rocky, like we're outside walking in the desert, which I realize is exactly what we're doing when we walk straight into what feels like a sagebrush. Carl thrashes around with uh the hand not holding onto me, and we're able to sort of stumble around it. Where the hell are we? I mutter as I stub my toe painfully on a rock. Outside? Yeah, but where outside? The desert, right? So do you think that we're still in Echo? Carl's quiet for a moment. Maybe, but not really. I mean, I think we can just walk to our houses. Maybe, I wonder if maybe all the others, TJ, Leo, and Flynn, are here too in the darkness. I want to call out, but I'm too nervous that that's going to attract something to us. I still remember the black figure dancing around the fire we're walking towards at this very moment. We're also close enough that I'm starting to be able to make out Carl in the darkness. Whoop. No, wait, no, not that one. Back. I look back at the house to see how far we've gone. All that I can make out are now two rectangles of light. uh, one for the door we came out of, and one for the kitchen window. In in the latter, a dark figure stands framed by the faint light inside. I squint, not really sure what I'm seeing. Then it moves, disappearing from the window. I stop walking, and Carl stops with me, looking back over his shoulder. What? I don't. Did one of the others go back? The black figure appears again, this time in the doorway of the house. I don't even have time to react to that before it steps forward and the door swings shut with a distant snap. A press of blackness takes its place. I grab on the car more tightly. What the hell? My mind flashes back to the black thing I'd seen crawling out of the wardrobe. Come on. I nudge into Carl's side, trying to get him to hurry along, while wrestling the urge to try and run on my twisted ankle. I'm realizing that it might come to that. Raven, Jenna, I call out to the darkness ahead, wanting to warn them. Over our ragged breathing, though, there's dead silence all around us, except for a drum beat. Either they can't hear us or they can't respond. Carl's gripping onto me with both of his hands, practically hauling me off my feet as he pulls me along. Suddenly he stops. What the fuck am I doing? He lets me go and crouches down in front of me, on my back. And there, before he even finishes his sentence, and soon my face is bouncing off his hard skull like he's starts sprinting towards the fire. Whether it's in my head or not, I swear I can hear a slithering sound behind me like a snake sliding over dry leaves. I shiver, not wanting to look back, but I do anyway, trying to peer into the darkness. Of course, I can't see anything, but I swear something flashes in front of the lone rectangle of light coming from the cabin's kitchen window. The rustling sound gets louder, and now I can't pretend that I'm imagining it. Cast a picture into my head, that black shadow creature confronting and bending through the sagebrush Carl was having so much trouble moving through. I hold on to one of his horns and lean towards his ear. Carl, it's getting close. And then my stomach lurches as it feels like the floor just suddenly drops away. Singing on my nose smacks hard into the back of Carl's head before I flip over, landing on my back in what feels like a sea of sharp rocks. Lay there for a second, doze, starting to feel. I was staring at the black ocean above me, wondering if any of this is real. Am I still dreaming? Maybe I'll just wake up in my dorm? Probably late to my legal and ethical issues and journalism class. Fuck, are you okay? Muffled voice breaks through the haze of confusion and pain. Then I'm being yanked back up as Carl pulls me to my feet and clumsily shoves me back onto his back. Sorry. Fine. I can barely mumble through my numb mouth, which feels like it's full of pennies. I can see I'm making dark stains on the back of Carl's shirt. Feels like my face caved in. I wonder if my nose is broken, but I fear that the fear of a pursuit is returning, and I quickly clutch at Carl's horns before he resumes his sprint. Finally comes to a stumbling halt in front of the massive bonfire, which had looked so small from the cabin. Okay, I think I'm gonna save here. We're at the bonfire.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel it. And also I need to clean some stuff before before my mother gets here. So
And
let's
I
end the
have
stream.
raid soon.
Yeah, what?
I have raid soon.
Yeah. So thanks again for you two joining me. Again, it's always fun. Oh god.
You're welcome.
And again, it's also exhausting. Although now I'm feeling like, because I was tense reading all that, and now that we stopped, it's just like, okay, we can relax now. Oh no, we're relaxing too much. It feels weird. So yeah, with that, we'll end the stream. Again, I'd like to thank Magpie and Blanc for joining me. It's fun as usual. I can't believe we still got 3 fucking more chapters of this shit, or three more routes. Oh my god. By the time we finish this game, Arches is gonna be ready.
Arches is ready.
It's not ready yet. It hasn't. The final build hasn't been released. It's just been announced.
Not publicly. But
anyway,
Patreon.
No, but if you have.
Look, I'm giving my money to the bros, and we'll leave it at that. Anyway, if you like what you saw, be sure to give me a follow. I am a variety streamer. I apologize for the mic issues. Still trying to work this out. I guess there's sections of the microphone that are more sensitive than others. I need to figure out where I should be talking to into this thing. So yeah, with that, I already did the variety streamer part. I'm a variety streamer. I play all sorts of stuff, and who knows, maybe I'll actually finish one of the games I've started. Hopefully we'll finish Echo eventually. God, there's still 3 more.
We're getting there.
Yeah. And hey, until next stream, remember to stay healthy and stay hydrated. Laters.